Hi everyone, it's me again. It's hang on, I'll just go through these. It's Chris from Montenegro. Greetings, Frank and Co. I'm watching the day after right now. I also recommend Failsafe with Henry Fonda. Yes, seen that. 1964, similar theme, and of course, Doctor Strangelove is the classic World War III film. Best wishes, Chris. Thank you, Chris. You're a good man. Thank you. And Realist Scouser, isn't this show supposed to be our schedule for tomorrow? Yeah, because Realist, what has happened, some of them were asking last night, can they have it of a weekday? So I said, yeah, okay. So I asked the panel, I said, will you do it? Yeah. They said, no problem. So that's why we're doing it now. That's why we're doing it tonight, not tomorrow, because we've got a podcast tomorrow night, as you know. Uh, I think it's 9:30 again tomorrow. Yeah, 9:30 tomorrow after the game. Or is it 10 o'clock? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, it's whatever it is. And so that's it, realist. It's one of those things, unfortunately. I've got Chris Dix again. Yeah, I was told by Mari that this was on tonight, but later about, yeah, films and such. Yes, yes. And DW, hiya DW. We've just been talking to each other. We watch George Galloway. Uh, DW, don't you think that it's regurgitating the same thing? And wouldn't you think that George, with all his wisdom and everything else, he'd have someone who would challenge him? You know, someone so he could put down really, because he can put anybody down, that man. So let me know, TW. You know, what do you think? Do you think he should uh, have someone more controversial, because he has the same guests on all the time, regurgitating the same stuff? See what I mean? And that's all it is. It's regurgitating everything that we know about. But you know, that's me. That's just me, right? TW says Failsafe is a great film. Yeah, saw that recently on YouTube. I'm going to mention a few films actually, which are fantastic. And these are the girls. Evening all just popped in to smash the likes. Ah, thanks. Stay on and you might like what we're going to talk about. And I asked you, as you know, I asked one of you girls if you'd like to come on and on the football pod and see what you know get have a go at Joey Barton, for example, because he says men don't know anything. I mean, women don't know. I mean, women don't know anything about football, and he came under a lot of criticism for that. A lot of criticism. And looking well, mate, says Lee John. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Now let's. I'll have to say these. Um, Chris, for the record, my favourite films: Goodwill Hunting, As Good as It Gets. Kate, do you know what? Kate Pax. That's a cracker. That Jeff Bridges and Kevin Spacey, and it has you thinking right at the end as well. Good shout there. Good shout. I like that. Wank the Dog. Oh, The Life of Brian. Yes. I didn't like The Untouchables because I've read a hell of a lot about Elliot Ness and Alfonso Capone, and it's a load of bollocks. I'm sorry to say that, because who got Capone put away? wasn't Elliot Ness. It wasn't the FBI. It wasn't at all any of those fellas. Who it was Mia Lansky. Because Mia Lansky, they went over him and Lucky Luciano to Capone. And he said, listen, you'll have to join the families. You have to join the 5 families of New York. You know, you'll still make plenty of money. But he wanted to be king, you see. Alfonso Capone. Capone, his name is, by the way, not Capone. Capone. And he said, no, sod off. So they couldn't, like, assassinate him like they did with Frank Nitti, who took over Capone. It was Mia Lansky who gave the FBI, not the FBI as such, but the tax people. He said, yeah, get him in there. He'll go to jail. Because they warned him, you see. So he went to jail. Frank Nitti took over and Frank went under the subway train. That's what happened. So the Untouchables, anything comes out like that, I just won't watch. And I watched it with De Niro and the other fella, Kevin Costner. Nah, for me. Couple of others coming out with that. Chris says, Close Encounters, Leon. Yeah, Leon. Cracking film. With what's his name? Jean Reno. Right, Jean Reno, yes. And Lee says hello to DW. And thanks, Lee, DW, because I'm glad you had agreed, because it's just regurgitation all the time of the same thing. It's like anyone coming on, say like this, for example, and just talking about the same film week after week, every week. You just say, all right, you know, we know about the film. We've already seen it. That's what it's like to me. Stephen Poulsen. Good evening from Tuebrook. Frank, nice to hear your podcast once again. Thank you, Stephen. During the war, my grandmother told me a little story. And what it was, you got the echo. There was a fella running around with the echo. He's got, the Germans have invaded Tuebrook, and everyone was panicking. All the Germans in Tuebrook, and it was Tobruk. That's true. My grandmother was, and she was dead serious when she was telling me. She was dead serious, you know. I said, oh, you weren't right. She said, we were, you know. Oh, yes, the Germans. Horrible, them. It's true. Mad, isn't it? Anyway, just to get you started, thank you, Chris. Yes, of course. Of course. Oh, John Conway. Hiya, Frank. Hiya. Right, I'm going to bring our lads on. I'm just going to go through these. God blimey, I just seen a face there. Hi, Frank. In the middle of the day, after the Russians are coming, Soul Boy Fran. Yes. Yes. The Germans are coming, they've landed in Chibro. I can imagine that. Oh, the lovely Jean. Good evening, Frank, panel and chat. Pray all is well, 100%. A big heart for Frank. Big praise and a glass of champagne for Jean and I. Yes, that sounds good. Francis Whelan. Hiya, Francis. Hiya, Frank. 2 big kisses for Frank. Isn't that lovely? Absolutely brilliant. And thank you, Francis. I'm glad you popped in to say hello. I really am. Great to see you there, you know. Albeit that it's just on chat, but it's great. Can't go wrong with the life of Brian, says Lee Johnson. Always look on the bright side of life. That's what JK and I was saying today. JK, unfortunately, won't be on tonight. He, his best friend was killed on a motorcycle accident, and he's very upset. He's very upset because he rang me today and he was telling me all about it. I'm so sorry, for his mate. He's only a young man. And roll me one up, the fat boy says, Dr. Russell Oakes. I don't know, is that a film? Is that Rob Law? Rob Law? Oh, brilliant. Hello, Frank from Alabama. Oh, Rob. Oh, great to see you. Absolutely great to see you, my mate, honestly. Again, now, this shape, Francis Wheeler. And Rob Law. He's a Scouser, big red. And he married a lovely American girl, and he's over there, Alabama. Isn't that well? Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Great surprises tonight, by the way. Really great. I've just got a message off Jason. Lee's on, Jay. He can't hear me, can he? I don't know who I'm talking to here. I've got JK there. I've got Jason. I don't know who's sending me these bloody things. Anyway, I'll just go on, then I'll bring Lee in. I'll bring the great film expert. I've got a great surprise for you tonight. You're going to go, wow. It's just like Rob Law being a big surprise to me and Francis Wheeler. Two very good friends. And wait till you see the surprise. Besides Lee Carlson, this is unbelievable. You're going to go, wow. Now, you all knew, obviously, I don't know whether you did, that I've actually had a cup of coffee and a chat with none other than Clint Eastwood for half an hour. Me. And I've met all the people here as well. All our lovely actors. I can't get over Rob Law and Francis Wheeler. Smashing. Steve on American Rust Season 2, Prime 1. That's Prime, Episode left brilliant. I'm going to tell you about one I'm watching, and it's on now on YouTube, believe it or not. YouTube. And DW says The Untouchables was a good film. I think it was made for people from the 13-year-old. I'd have been better with a more Godfather edge. Yes. That's a good point, actually. D. That's a good point. Oh, yeah, Frank says David Shakespeare. The man with the best name in the world. Shakespeare. Best wishes to you, JK. Thank you. That's lovely, that. And DW, OFFS. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. DW, condolences. Thank you. It'd be much appreciated, JK, with that. Really, really will. And Lee says, any tours this coming spring, summer? Yes. Yes, there is. I'll be letting you know on the ordinary pod, on the football pod, and on this pod. I'll be letting you know. The big good ones, actually. I'm trying to get up. There's a woman, Lynn Ellis, and she hires me for 2 coaches a year, and they'd be great. Honestly, because you go everywhere. So yeah, Lee, keep in touch. And lovely Jean, there she is. We're thinking of you. Stay strong. You never walk alone. Rip to your mate and family. Do you know what? He's only got a mother. He's only got a mother, and she's only got him. And I was saying to JK, I said, listen, I remember my grandmother. My auntie died. My auntie. And my auntie married. And I remember going into my grandmother, and I didn't know what to say. I was a young man. I must have been about 30 odd. And I just looked at her. And she just looked at me. There's only me and her in the house. And she said to me, I've lost my child. Get choked now. And I just went on my knees and just grabbed her. Never forget that. And that resonates with me. It's resonated with me all my life. I've lost my child, and you could imagine that woman now, today, being told that her son, 28, I think he is, JK said, Ted. Okay, but let's have some, let's try and cheer up, eh? Sal, evening Frank, evening Sal. Used to have an Italian mate named Sal, by the way. Great name. I was just going to bring Leon, and he goes, he disappears. I was just going to bring him on. Again now, he's a whopper. And Rob Law, you're looking fab, mate. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much. Thank you. DW, I didn't watch The Chosen film, like. I've seen it a few years ago. Wasn't Threads the UK equivalent? That had a bit more impact on me. Both are a bit dated now, though. They need remaking. My special guest from Hollywood has gone. Would you believe that? Because he wanted to remain anonymous. He'll never come on a pod again, anytime. And get that. I hope you know. I know that you're looking again. You'll never come on again. You've upset me. So you can sod off. Not being. I'll never ring you again either. And don't ring me. Don't message me. And Lee says, love the new Klopp painting. Wonder how many out there of our wonderful players. The artist deserves massive credit from Liverpool FC as well. Hey, the owners don't give a toss. They're not interested. I told you about that Werner, John Henry with Werner, didn't I? And St. John. And I told him this is a legend known all over the world by Liverpool fans. And St. John came over to me. And he went, and who are you? I said, I just told you. My guitar teacher met Clint Eastwood in Newcastle train station way back when he was in Rawhide. Really? Yeah, but I met him in Glasgow. I tell you, Duck Bay, just outside Glasgow. Unbelievable. He was on his own, sitting down his own. I said to this Kenny lad, I'm going over. Do you want to come over with me? He went, no, scared. I said, I just went over. What a gentleman. The Beautiful Game on Netflix is a belter film, says Steve Evans. And what's happened to JK Frank, says Steve. His mate was killed. And he's dead upset. And Jean Gray, look, she's laughing at me. Hey, Eugene. And Chris Dix. Yes, Frank, I know full well what your aunt felt. Thank you. it's unspeakable to lose a child. No, it was my grandmother who lost a child. My auntie died, Chris. My auntie. And she was a lovely woman, my auntie Mary. Evening Gold, think of JK. My auntie had 2 sons. One of what drowns while fishing. The other lads burnt in a house fire. Terrible. Then she lost her husband. Jesus, cruel life. Well, DW and I go on these things, and it's shocking what we're told today. And who was it, Frank? Named the traitor. Named the traitor. I'm not a snitch, I don't name traitors. But you'll never see him again. Ever. Ever. And roll me one up, the fat boy sends all his love. JK, all his love. And stay. Mate, don't know what to say. Sorry for your loss, JK. Thank you. And it'll be passed on to him. It'll be passed on to him. I'm going to bring in the Lebanese reviewer. He loves Lebanese films, really does. And he speaks Lebanese, by the way. Lebanese speaks, especially when he goes to Amsterdam. He speaks Lebanese with a forked tongue.
Hi, everyone.
All right, mate.
Hi.
Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, there used to be, when I was a kid, there used to be weed called lead. I think that was Lebanese, like resin, like the kids smoke that green stuff now with that horrible, stinky, strong stuff. When I was a kid, it was like a little bit of brown thing, and you heated it up and put it in. When I was a kid, I'm talking, you know what I mean, when I was a teenager, but it was called lead. I think it was Lebanese.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I said, you know all about Lebanese. You speak it and everything.
Sorry to talk about illegal stuff, but a little bit of the old wacky backy didn't hurt anyone when you were a teenager. You know what I mean? Mate.
Cruel Wales at times, friend. David Shakespeare, sorry to hear about your loss, JK. And Norman. Hiya, Lee. DW. All right, Lee, mate.
Hi, DW. Good to see you.
And Steve Evans. Going to watch Wages of Fear remake Friday while I'm on the red lab. That's what.
Go wacky backy.
And David Shakespeare. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Dave.
DW. Yeah, Leb Low.
There was 2 main types. It was Leb and dark Rocky, because Rocky's Moroccan, I think. Moroccan black. So so they're all like Lebanon, Morocco, and that's not why I like Lebanese films. I just like world cinema because I've never visited that many places. I've never travelled much, so that's a good way to see other cultures and other continents, other countries. Same with books, you know what I mean? As far as books are concerned, I don't think we've invented a better way yet than the novel to see what it's like to be somebody else, you know what I mean? Films can't really do that, they don't give you that consciousness of a life lived from the inside that a book does, to be someone else moving through time in a society, sometimes over a long period of time. A book can take you through a character's whole lifetime, and it could be 90, 100 years, you know what I mean? So if you don't get
I'm sorry I mentioned Leb. Well, anyway, let's just go through it. Great to see the support for your JK on here. It's a great feeling of support. It's a great feeling of support, says Chris, all the way from Montenegro. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Ali Nus, all the way from Romania.
Hi,
And
Ali.
Ali says, "Good evening, guys. Good evening, Ali. Ian McKay of Frank." Yes. Ian, I don't know what to say. And Splorticus, I don't know what that's Splorticus. Well, Spartacus was Spartacus. Brilliant. Liminal costume. Yes, well, is that a film? Liminal costume. And what's that Clash of the Titans from it? Yeah, brilliant. I like a bit of Greek mythology as
I
well.
love that.
Andromeda. It's a smashing film. Brilliant film, in fact. These are great, you know. I'm going to bring in some American to, make it more. And now this American, and my other guest, but this American should know more about Hollywood. He knows about Liverpool Football Club, but he should know more and more about Hollywood, right? And I'm not going to mention P. Diddy and what Ice Cube was saying about him. Ice Cube.
I haven't heard. All I've heard is the name P. Diddy and that something's going on, but I haven't heard because I'm not really. I don't go and look into things. You know what I mean, mate? It depends how interested I am in it, and whatever it is, it doesn't hold enough interest for me to look into it.
Well, it's like that. I'm just walking down the street singing, "Ooh, diddy, P. Diddy do." Well, anyway, that was me. That was my little joke. But anyway, I'm going to bring in, before I bring our American Hollywood superstar on, he knows everything about Hollywood. I'm going to bring in a film expert. And there he is. Are you okay there, film expert?
Oh, hi there, laddies.
Idiot.
Oh, no, I love your singing, Frank.
The film expert.
I just want to say,
Frank.
say condolences to JK. Bless that, bro.
Shocking. I'll be made up with that. And our great friend who's coming on now, he'll pass on all the messages besides myself. And there he is, the great man himself, the 12th man. There he is. Hey, it's 12th, you're okay?
Hey, the 12th.
Hello.
Hi, it's Rob, mate. Good to see you.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, new background there, 12th.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little brick. Yeah, little red brick.
It's got the Berlin Wall going on.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, anyway, and let's see. Jean, our lovely Jean, says, "Hey Lee, Levin Red gold seal wasn't too bad either."
That's it. We're showing our age, aren't we, Jim? We're showing our age now. All the kids know about now is that bloody stinking green stuff, skunk. But in our day, it was like a little bit of a little tiny thing like that. What a little tiny burn it and.
Well, John Conway says, "Sorry for your loss, JK." That's thank you, John. Frank, if you don't mind me just saying to all Reds watching, lots of our fans are being ripped off online for tickets for games. Don't do it. 99% are frauds. Thanks, Frank. Thank you. No, you made us aware there, Norman. You made us aware. Thank you so much. And what's this? Do you know anything? Liminal costume? Any idea? No. I wonder if it's a plant. I wonder if it's a plant. And Steve Evans.
I don't know, and I'm a bad word nerd, mate. When I see a word, I don't know. The dictionary comes out as it was back in the day. Now, if you Google it, don't you?
Liminal means occupying a position at or on both sides of a boundary or threshold.
Oh.
So I guess maybe like not taking a side on a question.
Okay.
I don't know.
Excellent.
Okay, well, Spartacus, I think that's a cracking name, like, but I don't know what the little words is, the terminology next to it, to be honest. But anyway, Steve Evans says he's got the munchies now. Watched Wages of Fear, one of the world's cinema classics. Also, City of God with Fitzcarraldo. I've seen
Don't
that.
know Wages of Fear, but City of God and Fitzcarraldo are two of my all-time favourites. I love Fitzcarraldo. In fact, I used to have it as a username. I think it's on the Echo website. I had that as a username. But yeah, I love that film. It's brilliant.
Klaus Kinski.
I never saw Fitzcarraldo. I'll have to check that out.
What it is, 12, he's like this opera-loving madman. He's trying to build the first Pan-American railway, but in South America. He's trying to build a railway track over the Andes, and they have to drag up. They're on a boat going down this river in the Amazon, like this really choppy river, and they're trying to like take train tracks to different parts, you know, so they can go across the whole. It's already been done in North America, a Pan-American railway, but it hasn't been done in South America. And Fitzcarraldo's trying to get it done. I don't even know who he worked. I can't even remember who he worked.
It's a real story. It's an actual like real story.
Yeah.
Claudia Cardinal's in it, Frank, one of our faves, the lovely Claudia Cardinal. And
Klaus Kinski plays Fitzcarraldo. He plays Klaus Kinski. What else was he famous for, Klaus Kinski?
Nosferatu, the remake of Nosferatu.
Yes, spot on, he had it. That's horrible. Frightened me.
1972. The original Nosferatu was 1922, I think, by F.W. Murnau.
I'm going to ask you a question now, Lee. Okay. And I'm going to start with you. Then I'm going to the film expert, Darryl. Right. And then I'm going to this is a crack of this. What film do you think has been the best remake? Cape Fear was good.
That's a really good question.
Okay, Lee. Remake.
Yeah. There's a lot of good remakes, but in some respects, remake is a dirty word. A good question would be, what is the worst remake? And I think the remake of Psycho was shit. It was inevitably dull.
Don't use that word, but yeah.
Yeah, it was cack-handed to remake Psycho. I mean, you're not going to improve on Alfred Hitchcock, are you? So why bother remaking it? I think it was Gus Van Sant made it. That was rubbish.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn played, the character. You've got to and it was word for word, you know. It was word for word. And
it shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't say these things, but you don't remake Psycho, do you? Because it's not gonna work out well, is it? Remaking Psycho.
Well, okay. Well, you've answered that. That's a cracker. Darryl, what's the worst remake?
The worst remake? Probably Planet of the Apes for me.
Planet of
Terrible.
Wasn't a remake?
Yeah, Planet of the Apes from the earlier days to what it was now. The earlier days one was way better.
Isn't it like CGI, which I don't like anyway? It's CGI in it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But I can't stand the ones they made now. All false. False actors.
Here's a good show for a shit remake. Clash of the Titans.
I told you not to use that word.
Right.
hate that word. You never hear me using
All
it.
right, here's one for a rubbish remake. Clash of the Titans. Did you see it recently? It's got that I was gonna say something else awful then. It's got that fella. I don't know what his name is. I don't like him.
Clash of Titans. Yes, I
Yeah, I
agree.
don't
Yes,
like him.
yeah. The original was iconic for
Harry
me. Yes,
Hamlin, Burgess Meredith.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Come out when I was a little boy, that 12. Sorry for
All
going.
right, all right. 12th, what's your, worst remake?
Okay. Because I'll have to retrain my thinking now. Because I was going with the question, or the original question by Soul Boy Fran, which was the best remake, right? But do you want me to get the worst one?
Go on, just for a laugh.
Oh, I was gonna. Oh, let me think about that then.
Well, okay.
Because I do have. You know why?
best one?
You know why, Frank? I was gonna say real quick, Frank. You know why? It's because I was gonna say I get that there have been some remakes that are bad, but I was just going through some of the names of films in my head that there are some really good remakes. True Grit was a remake. I thought True Grit was an incredible film. 310 to Yuma was a really good film. Dawn of the Dead is a remake. That's a really good film. I'm trying to think of Ocean's 11, another really good film, a remake. Another, possibly one of my favorite films, and it is a remake, is Heat.
Heat.
Yes.
Heat remake. I didn't
Heat
know
is a
that.
remake.
Well,
No, you see, there was two Heats. There was one with Kathleen Turner, and there was another with De Niro and Pacino.
Right. Now, this Heat was, the original Heat was called LA Takedown. Oh, look at Brian. Good call.
hey, here's one for you.
1989.
There's a Lee Marvin film called Point Blank, and it was remade. Payback with Mel Gibson. It's the exact same film.
Awful.
The Departed was a Japanese film called Infernal Affairs, a Japanese film, and it's exactly the same film.
Oh, it's Korean. It's a Korean film. Korean. I think it was Korean.
Yeah, well, I think it's Japanese.
Is it Japanese? Okay.
Right. I thought it was Japanese. But anyway, the difference was at the end of the film, the Matt Damon character doesn't get killed. He has to live with the shame of being a rat of grass, because that's worse in their culture, to be a rat in the grass. It's more acceptable in our culture and more known to be a rat in the grass or whatever, and a shithead. But in their culture, it's worse to live with the shame than to be shot in the head like Mark Wahlberg does to him at the end. That's the only difference of the film. The outcome for the character.
If I could, Frank, if you don't mind, there's a couple other on. I guess I could make a list here, somewhat. Some of these films, I see your reactions to some of the films that I just was just looking up to. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, really good, a funny film. I don't know if you're big into Steve Martin. The Fly. The Fly was a remake. I thought The Fly was exceptional. With it
was better than the original.
Yeah. Exactly.
With Jeff Goldblum.
Yep. The Fly was a remake. Scarface was a remake. I don't know.
Everything's a remake, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of remakes out there. There's more than you think that have been good, at least. I mean, Scarface, that's one of, iconic movie. The Thing is a remake. The Thing is a remake.
One of my all-time faves, 12th Thing, the 1982 John Carpenter one. I love it.
And last, I know I'll make this quick. I'm sorry, Frank. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, another good movie.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Fistful of Dollars.
Do you know what though? I've got both of them. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Maze with Matthew McCarthy. Forget his first name, but anyway, yeah. And Donna Winter, black and white, and I like that. And with Donald Sutherland, the remake, great. So the two of them were very good films, if you know what I mean. So the remake wasn't better than. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's a good choice, that. I like
Well,
that.
you know what I said about Lee Marvin, Point Blank, and about Infernal Affairs, which was remade as The Departed. I saw The Departed first before I saw Infernal Affairs, which is the same film, and I saw Payback with Mel Gibson before I seen the Lee Marvin one, Point Blank. I didn't realise they were remakes until years later when I saw the original, and it was just a different name with different actors, but exactly the same film, exactly the same characters, exactly the same film.
Okay. What about you, Brian? Sneaking in there. What about you?
It's kind of the favorite remake, is it, or worst
Yeah.
remake kind of thing?
Favourites and worst. Answer both.
Great question from whoever put it in. Thanks for that. This has gone off well, this, I think.
It's a good one, yeah.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, you know. It's because how far do you know how esoteric do you want to get in terms of this was a remake of this and this was a remake of that? If I want to just go with straight up, because one of my bugbears with Hollywood is the lack of creativity at the moment, and everything is just a rewrite and a remake of old stuff. So there's been a lot of stuff remade in the last 10 years. It's really, really bad. I go like the one I saw was one I saw most recently. What the hell is it called? Oh, sorry, Frank. Total Recall, when they remade Total Recall.
Yes.
That was such a load of.
Yeah.
No, it's not. With Colin Farrell in it. It's
as well.
Yeah, I met him at a pub once, actually. You should, Frank. You should have seen what happened when he walked into the pub. Even guys were like, "God damn, he's good looking." You know what I mean? It was like, it was Jesus. All women were unavailable in an instant.
It's like me when I walk in the pub. It's unbelievable.
I can only imagine. The hair reminds me of Farrah. But even Phone Booth was a remake. But that to me was so unnecessary. I just can't stand an unnecessary kind of creatively void remake where they just literally just remake it, don't change anything. Which I think, which is the one I'm going to talk about, which was I think was it Lars von Trier who remade Psycho, and he remade it shot for shot.
Yeah,
I think what he was doing was taking on that thing where it's like some people are remaking movies and they're trying to add their own twist to it, like RoboCop. Why are you remaking RoboCop?
Yes.
Nobody has asked you to do that. There's no need to do that. But Lars von Trier, I think, went in. What he did with Psycho was literally just reshot it, scene for scene, no changes. Tried to do it, and I think that was the commentary on that. But that I think was one of my I tend to avoid the idea of a remake, but I love finding out afterwards that a film was. But like I say, a lot of these films are kind of taken from different things. So the two that was stand out for me as a bad one was the Total Recall one, and I really enjoyed the idea of it. Was it Lars von Trier? If I'm wrong, please correct me. That did Psycho and remade it shot for shot. So,
I haven't heard of that. I know Gus Van Sant remade it and it was rubbish.
Was it Van Sant? Well, it must have been Gus Van Sant. Yeah, Lars von Trier, Gus Van Sant. Yeah, I know. It's one of those guys. I'm coming in cold here. But I think... But it might have been rubbish, but I like the idea. He just remade it shot for shot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think on the fly of another remake, but I'll pass it on. Yeah, I'll give those two as my answers anyway. And regret them in 20 minutes when I think of something better.
We have to change the subject. But anyway, someone mentioned about P. Diddy. And,
okay.
Yeah,
but,
but I'm not interested, you know what I mean? It's probably
someone asked. Stop it.
P. Diddy.
Someone asked, we do answer the questions, by the way, or the comments. This is what it's all about, whether it's a football show, whether it's film review. whether it's my history show, I answer them.
No, sorry, I didn't
Anyway,
mean to jump in. I was just saying I didn't know what it was. I heard that he'd done something wrong, or people are talking about him, and I suspected as much that this would be what they were
well,
saying.
anyway, I'm answering. Steve Evans says it was sex trafficking. And Ottoman Turk, no, it's Ottoman Turk. Apparently he's been touching young boys and then telling them you make them rappers. You know, well, this is what's all coming out anyway about him. And oh, that's nice coming from Gene. Hey, Daryl, hope you're and yours are doing well today. That's lovely, that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning Daryl, by the way. He's had to go. Has that 12 man gone? No, he hasn't. And then, freaking hell. Right, I'll tell you what then. I'll tell you what. I'll go to you, right to you, Brian. What's the best film do you reckon that's been made in the last 10 years?
Last 10 years. Okay.
Sorry.
Because I'm going to come out straight here. I've gone more into my, when you get to a certain age and you start looking back,
Yes.
I've gone more into I've gone a little bit off because the superhero genre stuff has gone beyond me. That, like Lee was saying, the CGI movies, I can't stand that stuff. It's very, very hard to find something like a big release that, but geez, the last 10 years.
It's hard to find anything that even appeals to you. Never mind that you watch and then is good as well. It's hard to find anything new that appeals to me. I look at things and I'm like, who's going to watch that? You know what I mean? And I don't like setting myself up as some like arbiter of good taste, because I'm pretty much completely uneducated. Me, I didn't turn up for school very often once I got to high school. I was actually a kid once. I think I got undiagnosed ADHD, something, because like I was bright in school, but I wasn't asked. Once I got to high school, it was like, what's the point? What's the point of turning up? There's no jobs anyway. The world's and you got to, the context of the time I was born in and where I was growing up, there was no fucking work. So what was the point in going to school? So like, I could already read and write, you know what I mean? But what's the one to go to high school for? I already knew how to read and write very adequately, like.
Well, that means I went to university, so that's done nothing for me. Is that what you're saying? Thank you.
I thought The Killers of the Flower Moon was a good movie. That came out recently. And I like the Killers of the Flower Moon, the Scorsese movie with DiCaprio.
Yeah.
With the oil exploitation of the Native American Indians. And I thought it was interesting how halfway through making the movie, Scorsese kind of realized, I'm making the wrong movie here. It needs to be about this side of the story. This is where the real drama is. And that was something that I was wondering where he would go, because there's only so many gangster movies you can make. But to find the real American gangsters that were always there, the guys that they were real gangsters, but they weren't in the mafia. They were in the FBI. They were in the mayor's office. They were in the sheriff's office. They were the bureaucrats. They were the gangsters. They were just as dangerous as any of these people. And I think he went and made a movie about them. That Steve Evans, Wages of Fear, is one of the greatest movies of all time, without a doubt. That is one of the best shouts ever, man. That is an amazing movie. I thought Wages of Fear, it's an old 30s movie. It's about a bunch of guys that have been paid to drive trucks, old 40s trucks, up a rickety mountain, and they're full of bottles of nitroglycerin. And basically, one wrong move, and these things could explode. But it's like an old film noir, and it's like basically pure tension, sweat. You're in the cab with these guys, and at any moment, boom, the whole thing can go off. But that's an amazing movie. Sorry, but the Wages of Fear. That's an amazing movie.
Wages of Fear. I'm not the.
And I think they remade that as well. I'm pretty sure they've remade that, but you couldn't remake it. Amazing movie.
And this one, Wages of Fear, is from the 50s.
Way back, 40s. I think it's a 40s movie, as I remember. I think it's a 40s movie. It's black and white, but at most 50s, you know.
Wow.
But it's a real intense. But it's basically about a bunch of guys being paid to drive a convoy of trucks with bottles of glass nitroglycerin in the back of these trucks, and they're going up, you know, those death roads that they show going through the jungle mountains and all that. It's one of those type places. But it's basically like being in a cab with them. It's very tense.
I think James Stewart made a similar one, very similar, around the 50s or 60s. But another one that you're thinking of, which was a little black and white thing.
Yeah.
And it was very, it was thrilling. It was a thriller, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, just intense.
But anyway, DW, now I asked Brian, and did you say what's the best film you've seen? In
The most recent one I could think of was Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm sure I've lost loads, but yeah.
Oh, no, okay. No, that's fine, because it is a powerful film about the indigenous people, who I support, by the way. I always support the underdogs throughout. I gave I'll tell you what you want to look up, Brian.
This is Frank, of course.
Hang on a minute, please, Lee. Please, thank you. Just let me finish, please. Right, Lee, Brian, I'd like you to look up a fellow by the name of Padraig Cronin, right?
Okay.
Padraig Cronin. And he asked me to do a pod with him. He's Irish.
Okay.
And it was about the 1845 famine. Look it up. You'll get it on YouTube. Or just look up my thing and go along the list that I've done, and you'll come to a lad named Padraig Cronin and me. And when he interviewed me about, you know, what we know in Liverpool about the Irish family and the influx. I think you'll find it fascinating.
I found it. I have it here. I found it already. Yeah.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. It popped up straight on Google. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. But I'd be interested in your opinion, by the way, as well. Right. I'm gonna go to the 12th. What's your what do you think's the best film that's been made in the last 10 years?
I would say, I was trying to give a good thought of what I would say, because I do like Scorsese films as well. But I would say Get Out. It's a I guess you call it a horror. It's like a modern day horror film. Get Out was possibly on there. Ex Machina.
That was a strange film, though, wasn't it? Really, Get Out.
Get Out was
the invite.
Yes. I thought it was deep, very deep.
Of course, it was.
It's deep. It's very deep. Yes, certainly. There's a lot of underlying messages. Yeah.
Oh, just terrible
underlying messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
Has Lee gone now? Has Lee gone?
There. He's just. I think he's just getting himself a drink or something.
Yeah, just make it through, mate. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thought you went.
But yeah, it's difficult to pick one. I was Ex Machina, Drive, and possibly. I know you said one. I'm gonna get there, but those are all my choices. I would say Ex Machina. I don't know if you ever saw Ex Machina. Ex Machina is extremely gripping for what the world is going into with AI and with the emergence of AI in our lives, and how it's going it could be creating these robots that could basically replace us in a lot of aspects of life. What was that?
Take over.
Yes, yeah, Terminator style.
You're not getting that in the last 10 years, though. By the way.
No.
What's that?
You're not fitting Ex
Machina.
Machina into the last 10 years. No chance. Not
Is
even
that-
Drive, I'd imagine.
When was Ex Machina made?
No, I said what's the best film in the last 10 years that, according to you.
Ex Machina was made in 2015.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was way older than that.
No.
Nope. Ex Machina was 2015. So that's like 9 years ago.
Snuck it in.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go to Lee, then I'll
I
give
don't know
you
about
my
Drive.
one.
Mhm.
I'll give you my one after Lee. Lee. Has he gone?
Drive, you're right. Yeah. 2011. 2011 on Drive.
Yeah, no
you're right
chance.
about that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. My favorite film, I think the best in the last 10 years, was Arrival.
Okay. I've seen that.
Arrival with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. And there was another one which I'll mention it. I advise anybody to watch it. And it's a true story with Jeremy Renner as well. And it's called Wind River. And it's about a reservation. And what happens on the the indigenous American reservation. And I just wonder why people are still there. I think American governments over the years are an absolute shameful, disgusting bunch of neocons, to be honest, what they've done to the indigenous American who live on reservations. Think about that.
Remember what I said?
And Frank, as you'll know, the Canadians are just as bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What the Canadians did was, people think about the happy, lovely, what the Canadians did to the indigenous. Jesus.
Yeah. And what?
Forced separations, and they forced the children into white families and all that stuff.
Was this across the board, or like did it happen a lot? This, because I know about it, and I don't know how extensive it was. That's what I'm asking you.
Everything is extensive. Everything. When you're building an empire, and there's undesirables there.
Well, yeah, true.
I have to say this, please. Forgive me for this. And DW and all. It's like what's happening now, right under our noses, and no one is doing all about it. And it's happening in the Middle East. It's happening on a little strip of land where people live, where people are getting thrown off. And that's what's happening. That's happened when you build empires. And when you look at the British Empire, Great Britain.
An agent of mischief here, though, Islam is a very expansionist conquest colonial thing itself, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I can be an agent of mischief there, and I'm not having a go because it ain't a race, mate. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Those countries where, before the Arabs came up, those countries were different religions.
See, what happens when this people think that Great Britain, I've never known it to be Great Britain myself. The English took over the Scots, they took over the Welsh. Well, that was easy for them. And then they went over in 1566, a fellow by the name of Sir Humphrey Gilbert. And he went over in order to cause famine to Ireland. And he did. He scorched the land. And if you think that there was one famine in 1845, George Bernard Shaw, how could there be a famine when the country was full of food? Famous quote. And
there was no famine.
Loads of food. They were exporting potatoes. They were exporting potatoes into England. And the Irish people were starving. The Irish people were starving. And this is like colonialism on a big way. Cromwell, you go back to Cromwell. He wanted to commit genocide. Get rid of the Irish. Get rid of the Irish. No, you might think, oh, why did they want that? They wanted the fisheries. They wanted the resources of woods, of farms, because Ireland, the farming community in Ireland, going back then even, unbelievable. You could actually dig and pull out and burn soil. Incredible lands as Ireland. And you've got the indigenous people of America. When they found gold, get them out. General Custer, no. He's no hero. He only went into these little villages, camps that the people had to make because they were on the move. And he just went in and slaughtered them. But they had them.
Yeah, I like to look at that stuff as a whole and look like that things have happened everywhere. But I mean, with Cromwell, a lot of it was religious. He hated Catholics, didn't he? And I'm a Catholic like you, Frank. And he really hated Catholics, didn't he? Catholicism.
But he kidded a lot of them. He kidded the Protestants as well. He said, you'll be all right. And he banned everything. He banned colour. He actually banned the theatre. And I've always said in lectures, if Shakespeare was been around at the time, or if Cromwell would have been around the time of the Shakespeare, there would have been no Macbeth. There would have been none of that. This is dagger I see before me. There would have been none of that.
I think grown-up Catholics stood me in good stead to say all religion is laughable. You know what I mean?
No, I only said that to someone. People, there's a very lame excuse. Everybody makes excuses for something else that's going on. And they always come out and go, I hate religion, it starts wars. It doesn't start wars. People like you and me start wars. That's who start wars, not religion. Not a priest going to say a mass, or a vicar giving baptizing a child, or a rabbi, blessing a little girl, or whatever they do there, whatever they do.
I shouldn't really say it, but my mum doesn't watch these programs anyway. She's never seen one, but my mum's a Jehovah's Witness. She became one when I was 15. So I got screwed out of my 16th birthday party. My sister, who's dead now, she got hers. Like, I never got my 16th birthday party. Lisa had hers in the railway pub up there, and got hers. She's dead now, Lisa. She has been since 2016. Unfortunately, the drink got her. But,
sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, I got screwed out of Christmases and birthdays from the age of 15 onwards. I was like, what? No Christmases and birthdays? There you go. It comforts poor people. Religion comforts poor people. And unfortunately, my family's poor.
There's one. It has to be. It has to be. See, as DW, remaking a film can be like retelling a joke, and it's right. And sport. Yeah, one of my favourite directors was Sam Peckinpah. Absolutely brilliant. But this made me laugh. Yeah. And it was Lee Johnson. A lot of remakes are pretty bad. How many more Willy Wonkas is there going to be? Saying that, Ghostbusters doing well with sequels, apart from the women's version. But it's all right there. But Titanic 2 was a massive flop. Why use two ships in one film? Did anyone else notice that?
Titanic 2, come on, lads.
No, it's absolutely. I have a DVD here. I have a DVD, and I was filming for BBC Two about Spibs. Funny, because they said, "Will you do the Spib thing?" I said, "Yeah, all right." And I just threw a suit on, and a tie and whatever. I went down the docks, and when it came out, because I don't look at myself and being honest. And when it came out, someone said to me, "Well, what was it on BBC Two for?" I said, I was talking about the Spivs. I said it was the only one picked from the provinces to do this thing, besides all down in London. They were all London, all the Spivs down there, you know what I mean? And so I was the only one picked, and he did what he said. You look like a Spiv yourself, because I had this suit on, and it was striped. And you've seen a fella named Arthur English who played a Spiv in films and things, and he had a striped suit on.
For the benefit of our American friend Frank, if you could explain what a spiv is.
No, you explain.
Yeah, what's the American word for spiv?
Well, a spiv, I'll tell you what it is. It's when ships used to come, especially in the Second World War, and you had English and American sailors, and convoys coming over, and they used to bring all the goods over, especially the Americans, because the Americans brought alcohol,
Good stuff.
the likes of Scotch, for example, the likes of nylons for the ladies, and everything they brought over. So they used to sell them too. They had a few bob to some of these spivs known as spivs, and they used to get everything on the black market, and they used to sell it on to the likes of you, the likes of me. So you're paying like they're like when you're looking for a ticket today to go to the game, what Norman mentioned before, and you go to these touts and you pay extra. That's what you're paying, but you were paying for stuff that you couldn't get in the shops because they were rationed. God blame you, look like Hitler there, Lee.
You're not saying that. Thanks for that.
A little mushy bird.
I don't know what the frig you look like then. You're all get calling me Hitler.
But you know what? Someone said, I was on a pod, and someone said, "Are you the gentleman that does a football pod? The elderly gentleman." So the elderly gentleman.
I'm trying to stave off the ravages of time at the moment. Like, I'm changing my hair. I've got a fringe back, and it's not really making it at the moment, but it's a work in progress. Is my new hair for now, but it does look a bit burlesque. It does look a little bit cheek.
You should just go with the mohawk. Go with mohawk. Do a mohawk.
Go with some lift. Go with some lift and some volume.
Right, so I'm going to review a film, and everybody can catch it on YouTube. Everybody can catch this on YouTube, and it's called The Family Man. And it stars Nicolas Cage and Leah Tioni. Leah Tioni. And it's a very, very clever film. It's a very, very clever film. And you just see this fellow waking up, Nick Cage, and he's in this apartment in New York overlooking the city. Beautiful. And he's with this girl, this. Anyway, she said, "I'll see you there at Christmas." So he says, "Yeah, okay," because it was Christmas time. So he says, "Okay." And he goes to his office, and he's a CEO over a big conglomerate. And I'm talking a lot of billions, that's going into this thing, in the city. And then he comes home, he does all his business, and he meets this Don Cheadle. And John Cheadle, I've never known him to play like a little part like this. Brilliant he is. And he said something to him. And he answers back by saying about this girl, and he left her at the airport. He was coming to London, or going to London. And the girl said, "This could change. I don't think he'll ever come back." I don't think he'll ever come back. And he said, I will, trust me. And he didn't. He didn't go back. But watch it. You'll find it on YouTube, Family Man, it's called. And the children in it, a couple of kids, absolutely, I don't know where they got the acting ability from. Watch it. Fantastic.
That's the woman who was married to David Duchovny, Tia Leone.
Yes. Yep.
Was she?
Yeah.
Go away.
Mm.
Didn't know that.
Mm.
Tia Leone, married to him. No,
David
didn't know.
Duchovny. Yep.
That's something.
One of my
So is
He's a
anyone?
massively underrated actor, Nicolas Cage. I know he's made a lot of terrible movies
You know why,
but-
don't you?
for the money.
Do you know why? I know you're saying for the money, and
Got divorced a couple of times.
but our 12th man would know more about this. I'm just talking about what I'm going to say, not about like Nicolas Cage and all this.
Mhm.
He owed the IRS
Yeah.
millions,
Mm.
and he had to pay it rather than go to jail. And that's
He's an
what
incredible
made
actor, I think.
incredible films.
Brilliant, isn't he? I love
I love him.
Lee.
He's one of my favorite actors, Lee, without a doubt. He is when he's in a good movie, and he's magnetic. You can't not watch him. Even in Moondust, was it Moondust, Frank? Is it Moondust?
Yeah,
Cher?
Moondust, yeah.
Yeah. Even
Well,
going back then, he's a serious actor.
Well, GW mentions a film there, and it's one of my favourites. And it's called City of Angels.
Yeah. He's an ambulance driver, is it? He's an ambulance driver.
Oh, no. That's Bring Out the Dead, I think.
Bring Out the Dead, yes, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's City of Angels. And it's about Los Angeles, right? Los Angeles. I'm trying to be a Mexican, right? And you just see these, it's great how it starts. And you just see these, like, figures all around top of the buildings. And you just see them crouching. And they're all angels. They're all angels, City of Angels, you see.
Oh, there's a good
Can I finish?
like
Thank you, Lee. Please, Lee, let me finish, please. Little full stop at the end of the sentence. And Meg Ryan's in it. So my advice is, DW put that up before. And my advice is, if you haven't seen it, boys, watch it. It's a clever, poignant film. Right, Lee, go on.
I enjoy films that are so clever you have to watch them twice, when you don't catch it first time round. There's books like that as well that you have to read a couple of times, maybe even more than twice to get it properly.
Yeah. Has anyone seen Arrival, by the way?
I have, yes.
Have you? What did you think of it?
I thought it was a good film. Definitely was a good film.
Did you find it difficult?
No, I didn't find it difficult. It's more I'm trying to think of like I guess when it comes to films that deal with like extraterrestrial contacts and such, I guess it didn't resonate with me like other films has.
No, that's what I mean. It was totally different.
It was a different kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
It was like a visionary one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A visionary one.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched it numerous of times, and I still can't feel. I don't want to spoil it for anyone if they're going to watch it. But there's a certain thing I can't get my head around it. That's why I said, did you find it difficult?
Mm-hmm. I'll have to check it out. I'll definitely watch it over. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, there's like, I guess maybe I was gonna go blank on the Prometheus. Like I like Prometheus. I like that kind of
brilliant.
Yeah, like even though it wasn't highly regarded, because I mean a lot of people got stuck on the whole like, is it the prequel to the Alien trilogy? or series and everything else, you know, but I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Prometheus, brilliant. Yeah.
I was going to
Absolutely.
ask, if you don't, I did have a question or something for the chat and for the panel. You know, if I could be so bold to ask a question. 2006. It's about 2006 because I know we spoke on The Departed. The Departed was, it's crazy, but The Departed was 2006 release, and when I was like doing a quick Google when I hit up The Departed, some other movies came up, and I was looking for another movie anyway. And there's a movie that is called The Prestige, and then there's a movie called The Illusionist. Those were two of my two. They came out the same year. I think that it did a kind of a disservice for them coming out the same year because they were two films that were very similar in a sense, but they were two excellent films. I don't know if did you guys watch
The Illusionist? We start with. I'm sorry to jump in. We start with Edward Norton, The Illusionist.
It was.
Yeah.
Brilliant film.
Yep.
The other one was Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
What's the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman? It's got a name like The Illusionist, and he's meant to be like an L. Ron Hubbard character or something.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's
The Magician or some shit. I don't know.
It's a good movie too, by the way. Yeah, that is a good movie. Shoot, I forget what it was though. I'll look it up for you.
Good film that with Phil Seymour Hoffman. I was telling DW in the chat box last night, there's a great one called Sign Doch New York with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I forget even what he is in it, like, but he's coming apart at the seams, and I like
The
films
Master.
like that.
It's called The Master.
New York,
Yeah.
really
Master.
good. He's coming apart at the seams, and his wife doesn't want to know him. I don't think his kid even wants to know him very much in this, like, and his
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah.
things aren't going well for him.
Well, Philip
Yeah.
Seymour Hoffman, he was a very versatile actor. He could play drama, he could play a villain, and he could play comedy, because along came Polly. Absolutely so funny.
He's so on that answer. Yeah,
So funny. And it's brilliant.
it's funny.
Isn't he
I
scared?
don't like Ben Stiller for what he did to some fella in Ukraine. Don't like him for that. Don't like Sean Penn either. And I think both of them are great actors. Sean Penn was one of my favourite actors, believe it or not. Anyway, Ben Stiller in this is just hilarious. Just hilarious. And if anyone hasn't watched it,
Ben Stiller's dad's an actor. He's the double of him. Ben Stiller's dad, Jerry Stiller, he appeared in Seinfeld once, and he's the image of him, mate. And he was dead funny in Seinfeld.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to finish the thought though. Of my question originally was with The Illusionist and with The Prestige. Did you see The Prestige as well by chance or no? The Prestige was with Hugh Jackman. Excuse me.
Well, yeah. Anything with Hugh Jackman? Yeah, I would have watched it.
You would have. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you had for me, I just wanted to see if you had a preference of the two movies. I don't know. I thought they were both excellent movies. I thought they were incredible movies. You were talking about, Lee spoke about movies that you had to watch a second time. You know, those were kind of like those like movies with the ending, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, what did I miss? And you have to watch it another time to kind of get how you got from A to B. I just wanted to know if you had a preference between the two. Especially since they came out at the same time, it kind of took away I like
that because it reminds you like that you're not that smart, that like you can't catch everything first time, and that you need to watch something a second time or read a book a second time to really get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ian McHale says here, if you've ever watched it, I think David Soul was in this one. Salem's Lot got a remake in 2004 with Rob Lowe playing the lead role, and it wasn't a patch, as he said on the 79 version, that was with David Soul. That was brilliant. That Salem's Lot. Stephen King again. Because Stephen King is the macabre king, isn't he? Really, king of the macabre.
I love the word.
Gia, Lee Macabre. How about that? Favorite film in the last couple of years, lads. Mine is Banshees of Inisherin. Effing incredible. That's our Steve here.
I can't wait to see it.
Doesn't hold back. What do you think of
Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson loving yourself? It's become slightly weird at this stage.
Yeah.
And I've had to change phone, so I know my mic sounds like shit. I can't really do anything about it at the moment. Sorry. But yeah, they're loving, like, them in Bruges is one of the best kind of, duos. In Bruges is an amazing movie. The way they play off each other is fantastic.
Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell.
Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell, yeah.
And do you know who stole the show?
Mark Strong. Oh, Ray Fiennes. I was going to say, yeah.
He was unbelievable. He was so funny.
Such a great movie.
Oh, you know what I love? Ray Fiennes. You'll know what. Guess what film I love Ray Fiennes in? It's a comedy role, quite fairly recent. Hotel Budapest.
Yeah.
But what's he called? Missy something. Have you seen it? 12th Hotel Budapest.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So funny.
Brilliant. And do you know what I loved in that? I don't know the lad's name, but he played the bellboy.
Yeah, Tony Rivoli or Revolori or Rivori.
Ravoloni. I don't know. I haven't a clue. I thought he was going to do a spaghetti dish then, Rivoli.
No, not ravioli. Tony Rivori, I think it said, if I remember rightly, Rivori.
But he was so funny. That made me say this fella is absolutely brilliant. He's a versatile actor, and I like anything like that. Anyone who can play comedy and drama.
God, I nearly died laughing at that Hotel Budapest. Just all the characters, even the incidental characters, are really funny in it, and memorable. But Ray Fiennes as Monsieur Gustave, it's so what a performance.
That's Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson. He does all his movies are like quirky character, like the Royal Tenenbaums, Camp Moonlight or something. They're all those real quirky, odd little character movies. They're all has their own little style. It's all strange. So if you love one Wes Anderson movie, you probably love all of them. One of those people that people love. Him, Frank Wes Anderson, the director.
Well, can I go? There's a few comments here, boys, and I really need to bring these lads in, and I'm going to bring in Splorticus. I'm going to bring Chris Dixon and DW and the Ottoman.
Can I just say, brilliant combination of words from Splorticus, artistically bereft remakes. What a great combo, 3-word combo that is.
Well, can I read it bloody out? Jesus, I don't believe you, Lee. See, you're doing that Hitler thing, aren't you?
No, I was hanging myself.
I was hanging himself.
Well, I'm sorry, I thought you were doing the Hitler thing. Anyway, Straw Dogs and the old boy remakes are great examples of artistically bereft of remakes, says our Splorticus, right? I'm just going. And Chris Dick says, DW, the original Omen 3, right, scared me. The remakes, 0. Okay, very good. And hang on, let me get down to the Ottoman Take. The Ottoman Take. There's a movie called The Man from Earth, which takes place in one room and there's a conversation between five friends. I was looking at that and I had to turn, I'm sorry, I had to turn it off. I don't know. I don't know. These are the remakes and the best made in the last 10 years, right? So let me just go. Where is it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right. So we'll just bypass now the remakes. Okay, we'll bypass like what's been the best film in the last 10 years, because the Flower of the Moon. You know what he said. Have you said what's the best film you've said? 12. Brian
No, actually, I would say probably in the last 10 years, I would say there is a movie that just popped into my head actually as well, though. It's called Judas and the Black Messiah. I thought that was one of the better films made in a long time. It's about Fred Hampton and how basically the CIA, or excuse me, the CIA, the FBI, and the police department, the Chicago Police Department, conspired in the killing of this man, and it was very, very gripping and sad, and it also depicts the life of the informant that actually this actually happened. So it's not me giving away the film or anything, but Fred Hampton is the informant that the FBI and police department used about how his descent into basically setting up Fred Hampton and the absolute misery that the man went through, knowing that he was a part of this, being another Black American, and putting this other Black American into leading him to his death, all because he didn't want to go to jail, or originally the guy got arrested for like car theft or something like that, and they're like, look, you want to get out of this, you do us a favor, and that's what ended up happening. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Lee.
Oh no, I've got that one, Black 47, on my Sky memory. It's the potato famine, isn't it? Or the manufactured famine. But what 12th just said, that sounds good to me, although it's a nasty story. It's, it's a really old tale, isn't it? Somebody's inconvenienced those higher up and they want rid of them. They'll do anything. And you know what I mean? Dirty tricks. I'll look that one up, 12th. Can I just say, there's some real intelligence here, like between us all. There's some great comments, and 12th, Brian, you know what I mean? There's some good stuff coming out here. This is a good night.
Well, what I want to ask as well is, you can say anything about this, well, not anything, but it's got to be on the genre of what I'm going to say. And we have mentioned the genre, before. What's the best science fiction film you've ever seen?
Solaris by Andrei Tarkovsky, remade by George Clooney in an impertinent manner. Another one that you can't really improve on. And Event Horizon was sort of ripped off from Solaris as well. I
thought Event Horizon was good.
I loved it.
Lawrence Fishburne, I think he's a great actor. He's been in some fantastic films, Lawrence Fishburne. So yeah, I like that myself. So come on, lads. I'll go to you anyway.
Solaris, what they used in Event Horizon, they used the Sam Neill character in Solaris, the Andrei Tarkovsky one. When he goes out to the space station to see what's happened, he sees his dead wife's there. Oh, she isn't there. He thinks she's there, his dead wife. And it's really good. It's one of the greatest sci-fi films. It's got no budget. There's no special effects. It's just brilliant. I mean, it's in Russian, obviously, so you see the subtitles and that. It's just so good. It's so
Russia
good.
makes some fantastic films, by the way. Because I watched one, and it was a true story. and it was about the space station there, and it was broke, and they get this fella out of retirement, right? So I think he's of all. I'm not saying seeing this, but this particular film. But when we watch films of space, right, and you see them and they're all talking and everything else, and they're looking out the window and the camera's outside, and you just see it, don't you, like sitting there, these spacecrafts, right, above the earth. And anyway, they go up to fix it. And this fella comes outside, it's a true story. He comes out of retirement, his wife says, "Are you sure?" I've got, I'm sorry, I keep doing this. I've got this thing's come out on me, unfortunately. And I hate you, it's paining me at the same time. Anyway, he comes out at the space, you know, the mirror, and you see it, it's all like wires everywhere, and you know, the things going psh, psh, right? Did I do that well? Do you think I should be an impersonator of psh, right? Okay, don't do that, Neil. Right, so, and he comes out of the spacecraft, and what got me, and I've never seen this in any film about space, any film that you're ever likely to look at, or TV series or anything. As he's there, the passing junk, space junk, you know, when they, and the speed is phenomenal. The speed is absolutely phenomenal, what they're going around it. And I always thought that it's just sitting there in space. I didn't think, I thought the earth just revolved around and they're just sitting there. They're not. That's going. Cracking film. I don't know what it's called. So I just thought I'd say that about this space thing. And it's the first time I've ever seen anything go so fast in all my life in space. That's all. I know it sounds daft, like, but.
Can I ask Brian and 12th, have you always loved films, like since you were small, since you were a boy, both of you?
Absolutely. I would say, you know, I was fortunate that I'm the firstborn, so I was fortunate that I got to go to the movies with my parents, and you know, so I've got to see a lot of movies that I probably shouldn't have seen, or but because you couldn't get a sitter type deal, I ended up going to watch with my parents. Whether it was I think I saw I'm trying to think of a movie I saw when I was like super young. It's a movie with Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy.
48 Hours.
Shoot, I'm gonna forget the name of it. 48 Hours. Yeah, I got to go see that with my parents. That was a unique experience. That's not a movie you usually bring a kid to, but that was something like that.
A seminal one for me. I have to admit, I was playing truants, playing hockey. Is that what from school? And it was the first Beverly Hills Cop. Oh, it was such a great film, and the soundtrack. Right. I was 11 at the time when it was out, and I think it had been my birthday, and I got like a £5 for my birthday, and that enabled me to go to pictures instead, because when I was cutting school, I didn't have no money, so like I'd just walk around town looking in shop windows and that. But I had a £5, and I went to see Beverly Hills Cop every day for a week, 5 days of the week, every day, because I enjoyed it. And get this, once you paid in the cinema where I went, you could stay in and watch it like 3 or 4 times. I just used to hide, duck down, and I'd stay in and then watch it again because it was warm in there, and it was such a great film.
Was you saying anything to me there, Brian?
I was, I'll answer your question there with the favorite sci-fi, because I'm not really a sci-fi fan.
say that straight off the bat. I'm not a sci-fi guy.
Okay. No, okay.
But so if I was thinking, as someone who's not a fan of the genre, as it were, I think RoboCop definitely counts. Terminator 2, they definitely count action sci-fi. And
Yeah, that's sci-fi.
then
Terminator,
I would,
yeah.
but E.T. is definitely sci-fi, and that's one of the greatest movies of all time. E.T. If you're a kid in the 80s, E.T.
Absolutely.
is all your childhood.
Yes.
I have an E.T. toy upstairs from the 80s, an E.T. Like a teddy bear as well, but it's an E.T. one. But if you want me to go down the, oh well, come on, Brian, grow up, get serious. I have seen, and I do love 2001: A Space Odyssey. I do love that movie. It is a beautiful movie. But for me, it's a sci-fi thing. I'd like to watch the. I love the space exploration stuff. It's great when it comes out, and I love seeing all that. For me, sci-fi just kind of passes me by on the left, if you know what I mean. And to Lee, no, I didn't always love movies because younger, it wasn't really the big. It's something I've grown into, but for me, growing up, it was always books or music, and then everything came after that. But movies I've grown into a lot more, and I'm always trying to look back and watch as many old ones as possible. But yeah, Frank, for me, E.T., 2001: Space Odyssey, and Terminator.
Okay. I'll tell you, you know Prince Charles, King Charles. I know what his favourite science fiction film is. I'll tell you what it is, because I showed him around St. George's Hall, you see. I got the pleasure, not a pleasure really. Anyway, I took him around. And his favourite film, science fiction film, was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
He's had a few of them himself.
Yeah.
Because someone was just talking, before I brought it up. He's just talking in general. This fellow went like that. He mentioned a film. It was a science fiction film. And he said, oh, yes, I really liked Close Encounters of a Third Kind. That's what he said.
Okay.
You should be on Spitting Image, Frank. You should be on Spitting Image, Frank.
I don't look like him too.
No, you didn't do the voice. That's good. A Scouse Prince Charles. That's brilliant.
Thank you. But yeah, that's what he said. And even the Anfield Roar says, great shout, Frank. Arrival is a great Dennis Villeneuve movie. As I watched Wind River. Yes, I watched Wind River. I've got to ask you, lads. I've got to 12th. Have you seen Wind River?
I have not seen Wind River. No.
Please watch it for the next one. You watch it. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Oh, please watch it.
I'll write that down. Yeah.
Please watch it. Now, I'm going to ask you. I asked this the other day.
I didn't get to say sci-fi, but okay.
Oh no, go ahead. No, go on, please. Just do it.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add. So I like sci-fi. My dad is like, he's one of those like sci-fi book readers. He likes to collect science fiction books and such. Our family has definitely been. I've seen a sci-fi film more than once, but there is a movie that definitely sticks out. I did already said Ex Machina. That could be sci-fi. I understand that. Blade Runner could be a shout. Even like maybe Akira or Ghost in the Shell for those anime fans out there. But there's a movie called Children of Men. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie or not. One of my favorite films. I love that film. Absolutely love that film. And despite, I know that someone might be like, "Oh, how's that sci-fi?" Well, it deals with actually like the extinction of humans through not being able to procreate any longer, and it's an interesting take on the world. I thought,
the star in it, Clive Owen.
Yep, and and the actress is big name actress too. It's eluding me now.
But he's a big red. He's a big red. Did you know that?
He is, Clive Owen's a big red. Yeah, 100%.
Do you know who else is a big red?
That makes it even better film now. That makes it even better film.
you know who else is a big red, Brian? You like this?
He must be Irish then if I'm going to like it.
Yes. Yes. Tell you who it is. Liam
Neeson, yes.
Liam Neeson. Oh, all right.
Big red,
Well, he's a Nordy. He's a Nordy, but I'll take him. He can have a pint. I'll have a
I
pint.
thought,
I thought
isn't the actor from Peaky Blinders a red too? Isn't he a red fan? I thought.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy was the Irish guy, big guy.
Yeah.
I think he has other things on his mind. I don't think he's a football fan. There's a lot of these people before they'll just say a team. You know, I grew up, you know, but if you actually is the actual fan, yeah, but I know Clive Owen and who's the other? Daniel Craig. He's the other one, isn't he? Craig is the Liverpool fan.
Yeah, Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
I interviewed his granddad, Daniel Craig's granddad.
I did tell that story the other night that he was actually in the SBS or something, wasn't it, or the SAS? Or
yeah,
he was actually a James Bond type himself, his granddad.
Yeah, you know, if his granddad was alive, he would have been so proud and shocked because he was a mate of Ian Fleming, and this fella, this suave, could speak several languages fluently, no accent, and he used to just flit into France. He used to get to Germany as well, Italy. He used to go into there as well, and he used to go into the Apennines and talk to these partisans in Italy, and go to Germany and talk to the underground there, because what never comes out in films, or you know, very rarely, is the underground in Germany against the big H, you know. Against the
they were all anonymous, those people working underground, weren't they? If anyone knew they named it, they were dead.
Well,
unknown hero.
It's a bit difficult trying to catch what you're saying, you know.
Sorry, I was just saying that's the thing with the underground, isn't it? The undergrounds were, if they had to remain anonymous, if anyone found out who they were in such big trouble. There's so many of these unknown heroes out there that work in the underground, these things.
Sophie Shaw, the White Rose, and her brother.
Wives, these people no one ever hears about because, there's so many unknown heroes out there.
Just horrible, you know, and they were guillotined, and people don't realise that it's just people just think that it's the French that was guillotined. It wasn't. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to watch. Oh yeah, now I'm going to ask you this. I asked you to watch it. Even Daryl watched it. The day after. No one watched it, did they?
I couldn't. I didn't have a streaming source to find it. Actually, it wasn't on Netflix.
No. See, it's on YouTube, but it was one of those. It hadn't been digitalized, unfortunately. So I went on one of my ones, and I got it up. Luckily enough, digitalized, and it was absolutely brilliant. For the time, it was made in 19. Go ahead, LA.
What does that mean? Does it mean it's a better picture? You can see it better, digitalized.
Yes, they digitalized them. Yeah.
I don't give a crap about that, mate. About it being a good picture. In fact, to save myself £5 a month, I got rid of HD off my package, off my TV package, because I thought, well, I can see it anyway. I'll save a £5 a month, and I'm skint at the moment. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that was good. That was good. So anyway, no one's seen it, and it's a shame because I wanted to talk about it because it resonates with today, boys. it resonates with today.
I'm not.
And
I'm
it's
not
a
sure I
shame.
was here when that homework was given out, Frank. The day after.
Yeah,
It
no,
is.
I said that though, Brian. I said, don't get it mixed up with the day after with Dennis Quaid. Don't get it mixed up with that.
Mm, mm.
That's what I said, and it's a shame really because I would have loved you to have watched it.
What
Really.
year was it made again? I'm looking for it
Oh,
now.
I went
Again,
back 1983 with Jason
1983.
Robards. And Jason Robards, I don't know whether he's a surgeon or what. And you just see him, ordinary life. You see these lads, you see this fella with his wife and child, he's in the army. And you see this lady, she's putting out a washing, and her little kids running about. And facing her is these silos, believe it or not, with nuclear weapons. And everything is just going along normal, as normal. People shopping,
Yes, I
people
remember.
doing whatever profession they're in, and
Yeah,
you just see then the other fella, the Jason Robards character, coming home from the hospital to his wife, and the next, you just see him driving like that, and the next you just see. Well, before then, what you see is these lads in planes, and they're putting keys and things and taking out these instructions or whatever. And they were saying, yeah, it's a go, in different planes, it's going over. And the next, you see Jason Robards, and he's in this car, and in front of him, he just sees this white, in the city, it's just this white thing, blinding white flash, and he ducks down, and he's under, and you just see people who are walking, and you just see like skeletons. They just zoom, come. And that's the way it was. This film and the aftershock, everything. Um, what it said after the end of the film is, if you think that's, I'm paraphrasing, if you think that's bad, the film, it'll be much, much worse if it happens. A nuclear attack. And we're playing around with it now. So I thought that would have been ideal to discuss it, to be honest.
No, I get what you're saying. I just watched the I just watched the trailer for it. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in, Frank. The trailer alone was pretty that was a lot.
Funny enough,
Yeah, there's a movie coming out now in America, which I'm surprised it is coming out, but there's a movie coming out in America called Civil War, I want to think it's called, or something like that.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
It's very, very interesting that they're choosing now to make this film, considering that in America there's probably been no greater divide amongst our citizens here, whether you're red or blue or whatever, however you want to talk about the divide. But there's the talks about like the militant groups here and everything else and yada yada. Now there could be another civil war, and this movie supposedly depicting a civil war breaking out in today's terminology of the word civil war, and it's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. The closest thing to the day after is possibly Red Dawn. That's the closest thing I've seen to that was you talk about remakes. That was one of my remakes where I thought was like one of the worst remakes possibly was Red Dawn, the new Red Dawn that they made. Because that original Red Dawn was my movie when I was growing up younger. That was like the movie I loved. Wolverines, that kind of Wolverines. I don't know.
That nuclear
a
line from the movie. Sorry.
Okay, I'll ask you this question now, because they've all been saying things, My favourite says the lovely Jean Cage movie is Face Off with Travolta. Brilliant, brilliant. She says.
Yeah.
Even roll me one up, fat boy. He says, I'm watching. You know, the Family Man now. Please watch it, people. Please watch it. DW says, totally agree. Like Philip Seymour Hoffman, he has magnetism, weight, heft. Absolutely. I totally agree there.
Wasn't
Hoffman was a great.
Philip Seymour Hoffman scary in that Mission Impossible film as a bad guy? Not like, you know what I mean? You really believed he was a nasty, vicious, but, you know, a clever bad guy. You know, he was scary in that, wasn't he?
And then 5 minutes later, he's playing Truman Capote perfectly as the most effeminate gay writer. But I mean, in an instant, that guy was a great. Hoffman was a great, and he was taken way too young. Way too young.
Can I say something, Brian? The 12th, and I have watched this, and the 12th will agree. Shouldn't he watch your 12th? Along Came Polly.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen that, you gotta see that.
Is that with Jennifer Aniston?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, no,
it's on the lines of like something.
I'm aware.
Something about Mary.
Aware of what it is. I'm fully aware of what that movie
something
is.
Something about Mary.
Yeah. Why should I watch it? Can someone tell me why I should watch?
Tell you. Been trying to tell you for the last 10 minutes. I've been trying
Sorry.
No, it's Lee's fault normally, but anyway, it's about a fella, right? I won't spoil it, but if you like Philip Seymour Hoffman for his diversity, his acting diversity, that is, and prowess, you know, he's brilliant. He's brilliant in one of the Mission Impossibles as a villain, and he plays a superb villain. Anyway, in this, he plays a washed-up actor, but he thinks he's still great, right?
Okay.
And he's Ben Stiller's mate in it. Honest to God, it's so funny. Because you just see Ben Stiller getting married, and everybody moves up. He's marrying Deborah Messing, the actress, you know. And the next they go on honeymoon. And they're in the Caribbean somewhere. And this French fella comes up on the beach, Hank Azaria. He comes up on the beach,
great.
and everything, and he says, "Would you like to go on my yacht and go out for a spin and whatever, so trying to get a few bob." And the other fella, Ben Stiller, just says, "No," he said, "I tell you what, take care, and I'll come back for you." So he says, "Okay, come back for you." Right. She says, "All right, will you trust me?" She says, and he said, "Of course, darling, and all this." And he comes back, and he's looking for her. And he just wades out to the yacht. And he gets up, and all you see, when he looks down into the cabin, you just see a pair of flippers coming like that. The flippers didn't even come off. It's so funny. Just watch it. This is on his honeymoon. But the Shankazara, she's with this French fan.
You know what? That's just put in my head. The way, like, a lot of women can't swim. Because my mum can't swim. And my sister, God bless her, before she died. It's ironic she died from drinking, but she couldn't swim. And a lot of the time, some women can't swim. I don't know where that one come from, but you mentioned flippers, but a lot of women don't learn to swim.
Well, I must be a woman then. Because I can't swim.
Do you know what our teacher did when
I
we
guess
were
I'm
in
not a
uni?
woman. I can swim, but then again, there's always that there's that moniker about there's that stereotype out there that
Don't go there.
people of my shape of my
Don't
skin
go
color
there.
cannot. Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't want to say it, but it's
I
out
can
there.
swim. I can swim. So how about that?
So I've not heard that one, but me mum,
I have a pool.
You haven't
I
heard
even
that
have a
one?
pool. So how about that?
I love Swedes. We only played football where I grew up, and we used to go. We all went the swimming baths, as a leisure or whatever, with the school. They used to, and there was hardly anyone who could swim, and we used to have that CTO standing there like that with his little cosio. And they said, "Come on." And, we all went into this like penny plunge. So we all jumped in the penny plunge. It's only up to here. So that's what. So, no, I can't swim. I'm the proverbial fella who sits on the beach and gets sand kicked in his face.
Oh,
You're chatting about the women, aren't you, who can't swim? That's his game. Pretend he can't swim. He doesn't.
yeah.
About the women. What they did to us when we were little in junior school, they pushed you in. The teacher would push you in the deep end. They'd throw you afloat, but like that's what they do. They push you in. You'd be going in the water, but they'd throw you afloat, and that'd help you tread water and that. But yeah,
Well, I'll come out with this comment, and I want the 12th to answer this. I know what I think. I need Steve Evans, good friend of mine, Big Red. Saw the trailer for Arrival, mate. Looked poor, to be honest, Frank, so I never watched. Can you tell him what he should do? Please, 12th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Right, Steve Evans, saw the trailer for Arrival. Looked poor, to be honest, Frank, so I never watched. We didn't watch it.
I you know what? Arrival again is a good movie. I need to watch it over to give a proper evaluation, I guess. Yeah. But like I was if you when it comes to science fiction, I know that Brian's not big on science fiction, but there are a lot of movies out there that I do like. Out there, if you don't want to see Arrival, I would suggest maybe Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of the movies I love. 12 Monkeys, I think, was an amazing film. But Gattaca was another amazing film. Edge of Tomorrow, another great science. I thought Edge of Tomorrow was like an amazing, incredible film. The concept behind it was really, really cool. But I think Arrival definitely is a really, really good one as well.
Okay, because I've got Lee coming down tomorrow, haven't I, Lee? What are you coming down for?
The match.
Right. So what I'm going to do, Lee, if you come down earlier, a lot earlier, right, and I'll show you the film, okay? Now, have you seen, Brian, Arrival?
No, it's basically the man who came to Earth. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? It's like the dude shows up, and I've heard that is one of the most underrated movies of all time. I've heard that Arrival is a fantastic movie. Like even as a non-sci-fi fan, I am aware of the fact that that's like because a lot of those ones came out at the same time. There was the one with Jodie Foster, and then there was the one with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney up in space. And they all came out at the same time, didn't they? And Arrival got lost a little bit.
2014, 10 years ago. No, it wasn't 2016, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
8 years ago.
Well, quickly, Frank, I will watch, right? I don't want to watch Along Came Polly, right? Because I know what happens, but I'll watch it, right? But
okay, thank you.
I'll be transactional, or I'll be slightly transactional. If I watch that, I want anyone who hasn't seen the Philip Seymour Hoffman movie Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, watch that. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. That's a fantastic little movie.
I will.
It's absolutely brilliant. It's
I
a
like,
classic.
I like Seymour Hoffman.
No,
And
that's a classic.
It shocked me. I was saddened when he died.
Oh, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Saddened, you know, because he's such a brilliant actor. And it's like that Ray Fiennes as well. Lee mentioned the Budapest Hotel.
Yes, the Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So funny. So funny.
Can I jump in on Brian while we're quiet? Tell us a few of your musical likes. Not so much bands, but genres.
Oh, okay. Mainly shoegaze, ambient. If anyone wants to know about electronic, I listen to ambient stuff from Eno right through to heavy ambient stuff, Aphex Twin, the early ambient stuff. All the shoegaze bands, My Bloody Valentine, anything drone rock, space rock, right back to the kind of development underground type of stuff, but avant-garde, art rock, guitar bands, basically guitar bands, and all genres from that. Indie, but also I love everything. You know, but those are my things. It would be the
rock is probably like 70% of me musical diet and always has been. But I also love like jazz, folk.
Never got into jazz. But
no, neither have I. No. As John Lennon said,
the reason I like jazz is it's not that big a step away from prog rock, which is what I grew up on when I was smoking Leb and all that as a teenager. Prog rock has got a lot of jazz in it. And
jazz fusion is basically the next thing over from prog rock. So you're bang on. Basically, jazz fusion and prog rock are very adjacent genres. So yeah, you're not far off at all there, man. If you like jazz, yeah, you've got a good ear for it, man.
At the risk of sounding lame, that is my black music is jazz rather than rap. You know, because it sounds lame when you say, "Oh, I love this about black culture," or "I love this about black," or you say you like. It sounds like you're trying to cover something up, doesn't it? Like and going, "I like this," but it's not. You know what I mean? I love jazz. It's just. I think it's an intelligent music. It sort of goes along with being a thinking person. You know what I mean? It's not a lyric. It's not driven by lyrics. It's driven by just the.
It's free form expression.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to read out this comment by GW. I have to read it out because he spelled paranoia. Right, anyway, what about those 1970s paranoia films? Alan Pakula's trilogy. And what about the odds of Pakula's death? Yeah, that was weird. That you know, it's mad. And Gary Rigby, Get Carter is one of my favourite films and performances. Yeah. That's by Michael Caine. Michael Caine, I've never liked him, and I only liked him in Zulu. Only liked him in that. And he pissed me off with these Alfie films. Shocking. And that's another one, Get Carter. Get Carter was very, very good. But I like the remake as well with Sly Stallone and Mickey Rourke.
I seen that not too long ago and I thought it was okay. I thought I wouldn't like it because I love the original so much. I won't like this, but it did.
Yeah. DW In Bruges was a superb film. Funny, absolutely funny. And hang on, let's see. I've seen something there before. Yeah, Chris says science fiction of its time, Close Encounters. I don't know who this fella is. Daniel Kaluuya is a great actor.
Yeah.
Leaving feeling powerless.
I've only seen him in a couple of things, Dan Kaluuya, but he is a good actor, no doubts about that.
Has anybody ever seen yeah, I've seen this one here, Dark Star. Yeah, Dark Star. I've seen that. When we were talking about science fiction films and Moon 2009, I seen a film. It was a strange one actually, and it was called Monster or Monster.
Charlie's Theron.
That one, the serial killer one, Eileen Vernos, is it?
No, it wasn't there. It was a science fiction one.
Oh, a different one.
No, listen to me. Like when
okay.
I'm just trying to explain something you say.
Yeah.
I've seen that that Charlize Theron was brilliant at it.
That's the one she got the Oscar for, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's beautiful, and yet it made her to look horrible, didn't it?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, great job. That was. Yeah.
Absolutely, and the way she acted as well, very good actors. There's a film called 3 Days or 2 Days in the Valley. Has anybody seen that with Charlie?
Is it true? Yes.
I'll tell you who's in it. Danny Aiello.
2 Days in the Valley.
James Spader. And a couple of others, I can't think of the name.
That was a real kind of 90s indie flick, wasn't it? It was one of those.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It's going back.
Brilliant. And Charlie's. Anyway, I won't be watching that ever again. I don't think.
My bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
Can I, Frank? Can I just say one thing you just said there about earlier on? Because I used to go out with a girl years and years ago. I went out with her for years. Brilliant girl. She was a musician. She was a fantastic traditional Irish musician. Loved music, loved all that. But she could never understand why anybody would watch a film twice. She could never get her head around why someone would watch a film twice. Because she would say, why are you watching that film? You've already seen it. You know what happens. She could never get her head around. Do you know anyone like that? Do you know? Because literally she was just like, why are you watching again? You've already seen it. It's like, but it's so layered. It's so this. I've never met anyone in my entire life that could never understand. This one girl. It was bizarre. She would never watch a film twice.
Well, I brought a girl to see, it was a date when you were younger, a lot younger. And she said, I said, do you want to go to Pix? And she went, yeah, all right. So anyway, I brought her the pictures. I said, what are we going to see? What do you want like to see? She went, West Side Story. So I went, West Side Story. I said, what's it about? She went, I don't know, but we'll go and see it. So I said, yeah, okay. Went in. And I said, would you like ice cream? After about 10 minutes. And she went, yeah, and a drink. An orange, them orange drinks. Yeah. And I went, okay, I'll see you there. I'll go and get you one now. Wait for the ice cream girl to come around. I said, no, go get you one now. I think she's still sitting there.
You were out of there straight away. Yeah.
It was a shocking film.
At the risk of sounding sexist, one of my favourite parts in Catcher in the Rye is where Holden starts ripping on this girl he's dating about her being thick because she's from like a posh, really posh family, well bred, and like they're all high achieving, meant to be clever, intellectual and that, and he's just laughing about how dumb she is when she starts talking about films. He goes, you don't really realise how dumb people are until they start talking about things in depth. It's just so funny. It's so funny the way he decimates a character. It's assassinates a character. It's really funny.
Gary Rigby says, has anyone seen our date?
Yeah, I was talking to Harry about that. That is a fantastic. That's a Hoffman movie as well. It's a gambler. It's about a couple of gamblers that meet up at a card shark. It's a fantastic little character study movie. Beautiful little film. Brilliant.
What's it about? Sorry,
Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it, and there's a couple other people you'd recognize in it. But they go to Vegas, and what they've done is they've basically figured out a little trick to beat the system. So they've teamed up with this guy who's a veteran gambler. They say, this is what we're going to do. He goes, that's never going to work. They say, look, it's going to work. We're college graduates. And it's not that famous story that everyone knows about the other ones, the MITs. It's not that one. But it's just they come up with a little game, and he's like, okay, I can get you into the casinos because you've come up with a game that can beat the system, but you look like dickheads. You will get caught instantly. I'm going to teach you how to walk into a casino and float around like you belong to be there. And it's just a fantastic small little movie. It's like it's a neo-noir. It's a fantastic, great little film. It's about gambling, car playing, but it's just about people, really.
Well, there's a film with Kevin Spacey, and I think it's a disgrace what they done to Kevin Spacey, by the way.
He's got a hard time, man. Yeah, hard fucking time.
It's shocking what they done to that man. Anyway, getting away from that, he was in a film called 21. Did you ever see it? And that was about gambling.
Yes, that sounds very familiar. Yeah.
He went, it was a crack-up film, that was really good. Because he only made good films. Well, I'll tell you.
Usual Suspects, Frank. Come on. Usual Suspects, American Beauty.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
What a CV. What a CV.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The ending, without telling anyone, someone mightn't have seen it, you see. The ending fools every... Has he gone?
Amazing. It's amazing.
Has the 12th man gone?
No, he's just
No, I'm sure still there.
a cup of tea, a cup of coffee.
He's a multitasker, don't worry. He's probably organising flights for some international DJ from Milan to Los Angeles or something like that.
Now, that was an interesting comment from Ottoman Turk before, and thanks for that one, mate, where you said about that film where it's a conversation between 5 people.
Yeah, 5 in a room. I don't watch films like that.
But sounds sorry, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I just like a little bit of action. I like a little bit of location.
Have you seen, what do you think of 12 Angry Men then, Frank?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolute. Because, do you know what? I was going to mention this before, what you said there, Brian, 12 Angry Men. You could never remake that.
No, of course not. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You couldn't remake that.
No need to whatsoever. What's your in?
Have you ever seen it, Lee?
Yes, but a long time ago, a very long time ago.
Henry the Fonda.
Let's run it up the flagpole and see if anyone salutes. Let's throw it out on the stoop and see if the cat licks it up. Remember the marketing advertising guy using all the phrases? Oh, it was that's a perfect little movie.
Who got on your nerves in it? One of the jurors. Who got it? I'll tell you who got on mine.
The sheriff type guy, the country sheriff. Do you remember he was a kind of the country farmer type? He was like, he was the guy who was straight away. He was just like, nah, he was the kind of the redneck. He kind of the big redneck type of guy. He was some kind of something like that.
Yeah.
He really. I suppose he was probably there to annoy us.
His name is.
Right, that's a big character.
All the time in it, doesn't he?
But the way he broke him down. Was the way he broke him down in the end was just
superb, wasn't it? But and this Al fella, don't know the Al fella's name, and he was saying, yeah, well, I'll go along with it, not guilty. I'll go along with that. And he's explaining as well. Absolutely brilliant. And the fella with the glasses on.
The kind of accountant or something like that. He wanted to leave. Yeah. Who was the guy who wanted to leave because he had tickets to a baseball game? He really annoyed me. There was a guy who wanted to leave because he had tickets to the baseball game. He said, let's just hang him. I got tickets to the baseball game.
Yeah. And you see them in these are fellas with the likes of Henry Fonda there, but the other fellas you see in films and you don't know the names. It's like Sam Kidd.
Rod Steiger,
always
these kind of all these
Yeah,
brilliant character actors.
great character actors.
I've always been the type that I always read the credits at the end to see the names. I don't know why. I've always been like that since I was a little boy because I like reading, and that's reading. I'll look at the end for the names, like, because I want to know.
What about I hated that film, Eraserhead.
Not seen it.
I don't know, Gary, unless there's another Eraserhead.
No, there's only one. It's David Lynch movie.
Yeah, all I seen was this fella and his hair sticking up and all these like things around, so like it's dust.
Yeah.
Well, he's my favorite director, but I haven't watched that movie because I know I wouldn't be into it. But David Lynch is my favorite director. But
brilliant, David
Lynch. But I tell you what, I didn't know was a David Lynch film, Dune, and I've never seen that either. But I've
the
got
original one,
and I'm going to watch it soon.
That's another remake. Everyone is saying is one of the best remakes ever. Is Dune. Dune 2 has just come out, and Dune came out a while ago. But apparently the David Lynch one was a big mess. But everyone's saying that's one of the best movies in the last 10 years. Dune 2, I haven't seen it.
Well, I could never understand that Eraserhead. I hated it.
Completely insane.
I had to enjoy it. I had to sit and enjoy it. Gary Rigby, Eraserhead, and DW says, F yeah, Gary Rigby. So he must like it. What about this one, lads? What about this one? The Stallone films had great soundtracks as well. Cobra, Over the Top, Lock Up, Rambo, and of course Rocky. Rocky was a great soundtrack. Does anybody ever watch? I'm talking about the first one. What are you laughing at, you? Does anybody ever watch?
There's a rubbish song at the end of First Blood by Frank Stallone, and it starts off. It goes, "It's a long road when you're hurting bad." And it's just like, oh man, that has an opening line. It's a long road when you're hurting bad. It's like
it's basically singing the plot of the movie.
Everyone's had troubles.
Well, that First Blood, I thought was a fantastic film.
Brilliant. Loved
it. Brilliant. The song is woeful, but the film's brilliant.
Has anybody seen the TV series? And if you haven't, you've got to watch it. And it's called Tulsa, with Sly Stallone.
Oh, he's the mafia guy. I've heard about that. Yeah. He's a retired.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it,
That
Brian?
came out years ago, didn't it?
It's only a couple of years old.
Couple of years. Yeah, he's like a retired mafia type in a small town kind of thing.
No,
remember the reviews of it now.
No, they sent him down there. It's brilliant, It's a fantastic. I watched the whole lot. There's only about 8 episodes or 10 or whatever.
They never gave it a second series, did they? They
just watched it in a whole day. Fantastic. It's a cracking series. And I keep telling people as well, Brian, to watch a film called The Outsider, not a film, a TV series called The Outsider with Jason Bateman. It's a Stephen King one. Again, it's only, about 8 episodes or something like that. I watched that back to back. I watched that. Fantastic. The Outsider, it's called. Is the 12th man gone?
You there?
No, I'm here. Man. I'm here.
Oh, he's there. Did you ever watch The Outsider 12?
It sounds familiar. I'm trying to think if I did or if I didn't.
Jason
I'd have to look it up. It sounds familiar. The Outsider.
It's brilliant. The Outsider. And all you see at the very beginning is, like kids and running around as you normally see. And you see, it goes into Jason Bateman's home, and he's there with his wife and his 2 kids, and he's giving them breakfast. And He's like a junior football coach. That's the only way I can explain. I don't know about anything else. Or baseball coach. You got all these young kids and his son as well. And he's got a mate. I think he's a great actor, this fella, and I bet you've never heard of him. And it's Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh yeah, great actor.
Great actor. He's an Australian, but he talks. He's got the American accent, and he was in Knowing. He was Nicolas Cage's. Have you ever seen that, by the way, Brian?
Yeah.
Knowing.
Yes.
You said Ben Mendelsohn, is it?
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn. I liked him in Killing Them Softly.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, that's a good movie too, as well. Actually, yeah, that's a good movie.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But Brad Pitt's a great actor, by the way.
When he wants to be, he can actually pull off a role, can't he? Yeah. It's hard not to be just Brad Pitt.
I get shaken for Brad every weekend if I'm out
imagine,
at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's it. It's always Alain Delon with me, Frank. Because I'm so busy.
Alain Delon, yeah.
Do you know what? I've been trying to think of his name all night. That French fella, Alain Delon. And, I was
the French Connection.
The French Connection.
Yeah. What you look like physically. I'm having most of my bottom teeth taken out soon because they're not fit to be seen in public. I'm going to have like a partial denture, which is like most of them, because it's my front ones at the bottom. Since I've been on YouTube doing this, every time I laugh and open my mouth, I'm like, Jesus, like, don't open your mouth. Whatever you do, don't open your mouth.
Don't worry about that shit, man. You are. Don't worry about that shit. People thinking, don't worry about that crap.
Has anybody ever seen, and it's only what the Ottoman Turk says, and it's a cracking film. They Live.
They Live, yeah.
Rowdy Roddy Piper in it, or something, the wrestler.
Yeah, that's right, Roddy Piper. He's dead, that lad now.
I know. Man, I grew up with that guy. He was he was great fun. Roddy Piper, he was great. He did loads of movies, didn't he, Frank? He was in loads of 80s stuff.
Yeah. But that one, was that a Stephen King one?
I think he did.
That was John Carpenter, I think.
Carpenter,
no,
probably more like a Carpenter.
He wrote it, that's all I mean.
Oh, right, yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah,
that's the amount of those wrestlers, man. The amount of those wrestlers that end up in the grave after. Yeah, look, we all know what's going on there. No need to go into that, but yeah, most of them guys.
Steroids, is it that does the wrestlers in?
Most of it, yeah. Frank, can I ask you a question? Because this is one guy you haven't mentioned tonight. So, and I know you've probably spoken before, but what's your opinion on Tarantino? Do you like Tarantino movies?
Tarantino, brilliant.
Yeah, you haven't really mentioned that. He's
I
one player.
I know. Tarantino. What's his most famous film?
What's he most known for? I'd say he's almost as famous for Reservoir Dogs as he is for Pulp Fiction.
That's it. And Pulp Fiction.
I love that song from the beginning of Reservoir Dogs. Dun, 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 dun.
You start singing that. Can you just tell the title?
I forgot. I've just tried to think of the name and I forgot it. George Collection, Little Green Bag.
Yeah.
Looking back on a track for the little green bag. Got a fast cat for losing my mind.
He launched soundtracks.
I'll tell you. I was gonna say, interesting story about Tarantino is that I remember because you were talking about the Flemings, you were talking about James Bond earlier. Actually, Tarantino originally wanted to do a Casino Royale remake. He had petitioned to do it, and actually asked, and he wanted to do a remake of a Bond film. But obviously, there's not many. The Flemings are the ones that own all the rights, except for Casino
Broccolis.
Royale. That's how Casino Royale was
it's
made.
The Broccolis.
That's how the remake was made. Well, apparently, the Casino Royale, after it was made that second time, the Fleming family made a deal so that that wouldn't happen again, and that they would have more, ability to decide the future of Bond films. So basically, that ended up, he won a second time around and asked the Fleming family if he could do it, and they turned him down. Actually,
No, it's the Broccolis. The broccoli. It's called broccoli. It's a broccoli family that have the James Bond stuff.
okay.
I'm laughing at roll me one up, fat boy. This family man is confusion.
No wonder he's confused. He's spoken that. He's spoken the ass. That green stuff, the old skunk.
What's the family, man? Why is everyone talking about this family? Oh, stop,
Sorry,
Doc.
Red Dwarf, yeah, Red Dwarf, great. I wasn't really into it when it was out and it was on every week. It was when it had finished I started watching it, and it was repeats. I really like it.
Well, all right, let's see what DW says the day after. That was yesterday. Okay, that was anyway. Let's do this. Lee Johnson, he's took his time and everything else to write all these. Top movie mistakes of all time. Apocalypse Now, 1979. 563 mistakes. The Birds, 553 mistakes. The Wizards of Oz, 39. 4 on Superman, 4. The Quest for Peace. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. No matter if we had resources, special effects, easy spot mistakes. I have spotted a few mistakes in film a few times. When you read about the mistakes, you watch the film all over again and think. The thing is, when they make historical films, true films, and if I see anything that's just in a trailer or anything, I will not watch it because that's the way I am. Mark Simons, Blade Runner by Ridley Scott with amazing soundtrack by Vangelis. Takes the K. Philip Dick novel to Android's Dream of Electric Sheep with Rutger Hauer's famous Tears in the Rain finale speech.
Oh, that's so profound, isn't it? That when Rutger Hauer utters those immortal, that monologue, it's a really profound bit of verbiage,
Yeah, now at least one of our viewers has watched it. One of our viewers has watched it, and it's the lovely Jean, and she says the day after was scary to me. Because what it'll do, look, I'm a historian, there's no getting away from that. And when I've done a lecture on the First World War, I've always said, you can imagine, but you can't imagine reality. We're all going on now about Gaza and the horrors. We're seeing film of the horrors. But to be there, actually to be there, do you see what I mean? You can't imagine being there yourself, albeit that you're looking at it. And I try to put this over, relative, to my students, because Jean Grey, she's actually come out and said it was scary to me. That's why I would have loved you to have watched it. I'm not going to ask you to watch any more films, by the way, because you won't watch.
Back in a neat circle, you mentioned The Omen 3 before, and it was the first time I ever sort of got really scared as a little boy about the end of the world. Was at the end of The Omen 3, it says about it says the Antichrist will come when the Jews return to Zion. My mum had to explain to me what all that stuff meant because I didn't know. I was about 8, and I had
Omen movies.
crisis about the world ending, and my mum explained to me what it was all about, like, and that.
Well, Ian McHale, and we haven't mentioned this, unfortunately. I Am Legend. Did anybody see that?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you see it? I thought it was great.
I didn't
Yeah.
like it.
I really did, because that's the apocalypse. That is the apocalypse. And when you think, you know,
It's a comic, isn't
sorry?
it? It's taken from a comic, isn't it? Like that's
I
a
don't
comic
know.
story. I think it's already. I think it was already one of those
See, you know
movies. Well,
what people don't realise, if something happens really bad in a city, like, nuclear waste or whatever, I'm just saying this, and, there's not many people living or whatever, what you'll find in the streets, and it showed you what was found in the streets in I Am Legend, are wild animals looking for food.
Mm.
Remember the lions? Or the lion, whatever it was. Forget
This is
now what.
really a really strong memory, but I was only about 8 when I seen The Omen 3, and a lot of kids probably just would have watched like the people being killed, but I read the bit at the end, and it really scared me. The end of the world to an 8-year-old. I was like, Mum, what is it?" And she had to explain to me. Well, when the Jews return to Zion, the Antichrist, blah blah blah. She had to explain it to me, and yeah, it's a really strong memory of being scared as a child for the first time about my own existence and would I live to see middle age or whatever. I mean, I have, but yeah, the world's on fire again, predictably, isn't it?
Well, roll me one up, fat boy. Can't watch films that confuse me.
should only watch films that confuse you, mate.
DW, this was a great film, by the way, boys. All the President's Men.
Yes. Do you know, Frank? You mentioned earlier on. Someone mentioned the '70s paranoia movies. Do you remember
Yes,
someone mentioned that?
yeah.
That was a great show. And as soon as they said that, what instantly came to my head was a movie that took me literally. I had to stop it 3 times to watch it again. Was The Conversation with Gene Hackman
Brilliant.
about where they're taping. That movie is so intense. I had to
Brilliant.
stop it and walk away and come back and go,
Yeah.
what a movie. And that's all about that paranoia in the 70s are being watched. What Gene Hackman, what an actor.
Okay.
He wouldn't get a job today because he looked like a bag of spuds.
Yeah, he did.
But he was what an actor. He's in some of my favorite. But you haven't seen that movie, that conversation. As soon as someone said that genre, 70s paranoia, that movie came straight to my head. And that's
Brilliant.
exactly what it is. Brilliant movie.
Well, there's another sort of thing, like a paranoia sort of thing, and it's on YouTube. And I mentioned it as well, Brian, to watch it. Right. I said, just watch it. And it's called The Accused. And
Yes.
it's with Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, brilliant.
Isn't it brilliant?
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it, people out there, watch it. It's fantastic. The Accused. The acting is memorable. Am I right?
They don't really do courtroom dramas anymore, do they? They've gone away. There hasn't been a proper courtroom drama. That was a thing for a while, you know, like a few good men, and obviously what we were talking about earlier on, 12 Angry Men, the courtroom drama.
Said that, Brian, yeah. I've never thought of that. That's interesting, yeah.
Well, yeah, it is an interesting by Colin Dykes. Frank, did you ever see Threads, the 80s British equivalent to The Day After? It was a lot more graphic. I thought back in the day, quite frightening. It was. It absolutely was. And I did see it actually. There used to be a series called Survivors, and it came out in the 70s, and it was brilliant. Absolute, and it was after it wasn't after a nuclear attack. It was after a virus. And funny enough, and I'm talking the 70s here. You see this Chinese getting off a plane, from China, and he's walking through the the airport, and he goes a little bit wobbly, but he's got this thing in his hand, like a test tube, and it drops, and it's a virus. Just go, fantastic series.
Oh, that's what I've just been watching now is Robert Rodriguez, Planet Terror, a zombie one, tongue-in-cheek zombie one, some scantily clad women in it, but they're kicking ass, the scantily clad women, and there's Bruce Willis is in it, and some other people, but it's quite good. I've got about half an hour left of it, but it's good. Been enjoying that one.
Yeah. What about Rayman, as the lovely Jean says? Is also one of my cruise faves. Does anybody like I think Tom Cruise is a cracking actor. And not only that, but he does his own stunts. Where's Brian? Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
He does his own stunts. I think that's great. He's broken fingers, he's broken elbows, he's broken shoulders, broken everything more or less.
I have to admit that I'm not a massive Tom Cruise fan, but I think he's a brilliant actor, and some of his films are brilliant, but I'm not a massive fan.
Yeah.
It's probably jealousy because he's too good looking, you know what I mean? He's good looking and he's famous and that, you know what I mean? It's probably a bit of jealousy.
We spoke about The Edge of Tomorrow, I brought up The Edge of Tomorrow. That's a film that he's in as well. The science fiction one that I brought up.
That Ex Machina was good. You brought up 12.
Yeah.
And Gattaca. Yeah, you brought up some good sci-fi ones there, mate.
Yeah, Gattaca was a really...
Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, Gattaca was it was an intense movie, considering that it wasn't really like, there wasn't that much of it was primarily a lot of like dialogue and a lot of different like interactions between, the one-on-one style actors, engagements in it, but, just the sheer fact that, what's that?
That was Jude Law, wasn't it?
Jude Law, Ethan Hawke, I think was in there. It was basically, one wanted to go to they wanted to go to the moon, but he wasn't like actually capable of going to the moon. So he had to get through these different types of he didn't check the right boxes or something. So he had to navigate to try to get on the list of astronauts that could be able to go.
It was thought-provoking, wasn't it? 12, that one. I thought
Very
it was
good, yes, certainly.
Film.
Has anybody seen, you're talking about Gattaca, which reminds me of another title of a film with Halle Berry and John Cusack, and it's called Gothica.
Oh, yeah. I knew you were going to say that, though. Yeah, it's brilliant. I was thinking about that film before. Brilliant.
Have you seen it, Brian?
Oh, that's going way back, man. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what happened in it, but yeah, I definitely saw it back in the day. He was big, John Cusack. Gross Point Blank, what a movie!
Oh,
yeah. Had a bit of a comeback then. He's one of my favorite actors. I didn't like him in that because I like him being quirky and kind of John Cusack-y, And
I am, man. Have you ever seen? Oh, sorry, go on.
No, he's not really a sci-fi guy for me. Like, it's in all this stuff. He was in Heathers. I mean, come on, Heathers, what a movie! Like real 80s stuff. He's in some of the John Hughes classics. He's the guy holding that stereo above his head. I mean, that's him to me, not a sci-fi actor. So I like him, but Oh, what? No, I love John Cusack. He's the
Well,
guy
he's
I'd like to have a drink with. He's the guy I'd like to have a drink with.
Yeah.
Well,
You
he's
know,
in a film, Brian, and 12th and you, Lee. He was in a film. You might think of the title. I forget the title.
I'm trying to think.
And
What we talking about?
Ray Liotta's in it. And he's a retired, not a retired, or he just left the police force, and he gives this girl a lift, and it's lashing down with rain, lashing. And they pull in at this motel, and Ray Liotta, he follows, and he's got this prisoner. And anyway, he's got this prisoner in the back, but he's got his, like a duct tape over his face, mouth. And he locks him in this thing. He says, he's dangerous, this fella. He's horrible, he's dangerous. And he locks him in this, like, away in this shed sort of thing. Handcuffs him, and then, there's other people there, hiding from the rain, sheltering from the rain. Has anybody seen it? Can anybody resonate with it? No.
Stop.
No. It's brilliant. I wish I could think of it.
Ray Liotta and John Cusack in a.
Yeah, Ray Liotta, John Cusack.
do you know what I've just thought? It's a great idea to get a pet otter and call it Ray. And when someone says, why have you called it Ray? Say, well, it's Ray the Otter.
Brilliant. Lee, you're a genius, man. I never said you're a genius.
Ray the Otter, isn't it? Ray the Otter.
I always remember years ago someone saying to me about Ray Liotta that he came from Bootle. How about that? No, that's true. And I believed it. I don't know whether he did it or not. I just don't know.
I've probably bumped into him if he's from around there.
I don't know what the Ottomans saying here. Frankie would have looked like a minga of a woman, mate. I don't know who he's talking about. Any ideas?
I was joking before, saying I'd look good as well. I'd look awful as a woman, me, mate. Bloody hell.
Have you found it yet, Brian? The title?
Nope.
No. Well, it's Ray Liotta anyway. I'm trying to think of another. One of.
Identity with Ray Liotta and John Cusack.
Yeah. Who else was in it?
2003.
Yeah, must have been around.
Or the movie was called, or series, I think it was. Ray Liotta and John Cusack played in Identity.
That's it. That'll be it. It's brilliant. Great ending. It's a good start. It gets you interested. The middle gets you more, interested. And the end, powerful. Powerful.
Yeah.
And if you think about paranoia, this is paranoia. I watched another film, I forget the bloody name of it. Again, it's like a motel where people are going in from a snowstorm. Do you know what I mean? There,
it's for John Cusack.
Was it John Cusack?
Oh no! Oh, I thought he was in it. I didn't know.
No. They come in after the snowstorm. I forget who it was now. And it's only a couple of years old, by the way. And it's really good. It's really good. There's a murderer amongst them.
Oh, I don't know that one. I was gonna say about John Cusack.
Hateful Eight, is it? They all come in from a snowstorm.
Oh yeah, the Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight. That's not really a hotel, but yeah.
What I suppose it's not.
So what's it called?
The Tarantino one. The Tarantino one, the Hateful Eight, where they're all in the
coming off the they had to stop there for the snowstorm.
It's a snowstorm, and they're all in like a wooden kind of saloon. It's not
Yeah.
that big.
It's a, what do you call it? A habituary, whatever it's called, something like that, whatever it's called. I was just gonna say, if you're talking about, you brought up John Cusack. There's two movies that come to mind when I think of John Cusack. One is it's a very deep. It's deeper than people sometimes give it credit for. At least I thought it was. It's called Max. It's a very interesting story. It's basically the story of a young artist. When Adolf Hitler was an artist when he was younger, and it was like his relationship with his Jewish art dealer and teacher Max Hoffman, and it's like a very interesting exchange as you see somewhat the rise of this of Hitler, and you see the sense of like how Hitler was like very into his art and into like the uniforms, into like the magistry with the architecture and everything else. He'd like just redesigned this whole like concept, and yet this guy Max, who's John Cusack plays Max, who was his art dealer. He had a relationship, he had a friendship with this guy, and how it just deteriorates over the sense of the movie.
There was a rumor, wasn't there, that Hitler had a bit of Jewish blood in him or something, and this really annoys him or some crap like that. That was years ago.
One of the things that I was talking about there, he was rejected by.
Yes.
He applied for art college. He was rejected by art colleges, which is one of the reasons that he grew to hate modern art, which they describe as degenerate art. His rejection by art college, and his watercolors are, there you can see them. He was a poor artist. He was an average artist at best.
Yeah.
And he was rejected by art college, and that fueled a lot of the hatred for the things that he went after in the end. But he also voraciously collected the old masters that he thought he always tried to emulate, but any new art that came after him. Yeah, that rejection from art college, but he was just an average artist, amateur artist.
So strange, isn't it? Like the human mind, what motivates people and what can motivate people to do
scores settling. Yeah, that guy was settling scores all over the place.
Well, Chris Dick says Kevin Spacey in Ordinary Decent Criminals, K-Pax, Usual Suspects, and Life of David Gale. Does anyone, we've mentioned them, by the way, does anybody else see K-Pax? K-Pax?
No.
K-Pax, I think, is one of those Philip K. Dick things as well. But it's not Ordinary Decent Criminals. It's Ordinary Decent Criminal, which is him basically playing Martin Cahill, who is a Dublin criminal. It's one of the worst movies you'll ever see. Kevin Spacey in Ordinary Decent. That's one of those Irish movies made by Americans that no one should see. If you want to see a movie about the general who he plays, then watch The General, which is an Irish-made movie about Martin Cahill. But Kevin Spacey should never have made Ordinary Decent Criminal. That is a catastrophic film. Sorry.
Well, what about Michael Collins and Liam Neeson?
Yeah, that's not great either, man. None of those movies are great. I don't like biopic. The history's out there. Fucking read it yourself. I hate these music biopics.
Well,
where
that's why.
Ray Charles or Jimi Hendrix. They're just Oscar bait.
Well, that's why I said, Brian, I'm a historian, and as I said, I give lectures about the, what happens in Ireland and whatever else. Yeah. And if I see anything like Gladiator, for example, I lectured about the Roman Empire. I lectured about that, so I know me. Not all of them, all the emperors and what happened and whatever. And there was one, which was Marcus Aurelius, what an emperor he was. Now, Gladiator was made, and I was thinking about this Maximus, and I was going, hang on a minute. It wasn't a gladiator named Maximus. So when I looked at the synopsis of it, I wouldn't watch it. And a former colleague of mine, also, retired, and he said to me, "Have you watched that Gladiator?" And I went, "No, I won't watch it." And he said, "Frank, promise me you'll watch it." I said, "No, I won't. I'm not watching fictionalized people in a supposedly true story." He said, "Just watch it." And I did watch it, and it was brilliant because there was the real life people, and it was so historically accurate. I couldn't believe it. And this like fictional character, this Maximus, played by Daryl, Merry. It was absolutely brilliant because, well, there's a fella named Commodus, a real life character, and he was the son of Marcus Aurelius, and he killed his dad so he could assume power. Commodus, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And yeah, but it was a fantastic film, and the start of it is the best start. There's two films. Yeah, I'm going to ask you now. I'm going to give you two of my favourite starts of any film I've seen. Right, one is Gladiator, the very beginning of it, and the other is The Wild Bunch. Can anyone better them two? I'm not saying better than what's your, opening sequence of a film right away. Anyone?
If you want me to go,
Question.
okay.
Well, Ian McHale says for you, Bri, and I knew it, mate, honestly. Tulsa King season 2 just started filming when you said they weren't making another series.
Yeah,
Brian, watch it. Please watch it. It's fantastic. Really is. You'd like it.
I've heard that is brilliant because I love when an actor like Stallone comes back and shows he's not just some puppet. He can actually act. I like that because he's great in Copland. It reminded me of Copland. Do you remember that movie came out? He played a serious character, and it was just like
that was brilliant. That Copland, but De Niro and Ray Liotta was in it.
I'd say I think about this one. I'm trying to think about your question. Sorry, trying to think of an answer for your question. I think for me, Raiders of the Lost Ark could be the best intro to a movie.
Okay.
That was like such a cool start to a movie that kind of like brought about the intrigue of just saying, okay, where are we going to next after that kind of intro? So that would be probably mine.
What about you, Brian?
Before I forget, I started circling stuff because Frank, when you start thinking, like, that's a question of like name two of your 20 favorite. Okay, so the first two, right? I don't know how long the start is, right? But Heat, I'm going with Heat, and I'm also going with the movie we just mentioned earlier on, which is The French Connection, which is the scene where Gene Hackman and Roy Schneider sit down at a bar, look across at the table, and see three characters they don't like the look of. And they have no intel, they have nothing. They just sit down in a bar and they see three characters they don't like the look of, who shouldn't be sitting at a table together talking about anything. And that's where the whole film breaks out from. That to me is one of the greatest opening setups of all time. No intelligence. That to me is just William Friedkin going, yeah, it's just two cops sitting there. I mean, that's what came to my head. That.
I would say there is one more. Sorry, Lee. I was gonna before you go. I just thought about something. Raise the Lost Ark, definitely top. But The Dark Knight, I don't know. I know that some of us aren't, into the movies with, with like Batman and
No,
Superman.
Batman.
That kind
Batman is different. Sorry, Batman
yeah.
is
But
different.
The Dark Knight,
Batman
the
is
one with
cool.
the one with Heath Ledger when
Heath
he's
Ledger.
with the
Oh.
Joker, and it's
Awesome.
like the opening scene is them taking the mob's money from the bank.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that
That's
is that is an awesome opening scene.
But that 3-second scene where Heath Ledger as the Joker has his head out of the limo and his ambient music played backwards, twisted around, is one of the 3-4 seconds. Is one of the greatest 3 or 4 seconds of film I've ever seen, and it's just him sticking his head out of a car window. The atmosphere in that 3 or 4 seconds of film is that guy is dead now. That is beautiful. It's perfect.
Yeah, great movie.
Jeans just said Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I've not seen it, but I've got it recorded there. I'm going to watch that soon. Looks good. Brad and Angelina. And DW's just said Clute. I've not seen it in years, but it's a great film, Clute. Walter Matthau. Pretty brilliant.
Do you know who's been looking in? Jamie Phillips. And he
Frozen
loves films. I'll get him on the next one now. I'll get him on and just say.
Jamie liked the bit of Steven Seagal, but look.
I said no, and do you know what? When we were talking about John Cusack and Nicolas Cage, and it's a fantastic film, and there it is on frozen ground. It's a true story.
That's the Native American one, isn't it? Is that the Native American?
No.
Oh,
No, yeah, I think you're thinking about Wind River. On Frozen Ground is about a serial killer. And Cusack's in it. And Nicolas Cage. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And that's what he says when we were talking about it must be. Absolutely brilliant.
I'd like to ask 12 as a resident American, if you like, like stuff like the Jersey Devil, the Wendigo, bloody, there's loads, like, obviously there's Bigfoot, but all those, cryptozoological stuff. I love all that. I love it. Do you like it, 12?
Yeah, the Jersey Devil, that's a very interesting one. So I'm from New Jersey, so yeah, I know plenty about the Jersey Devil, but I definitely like those kinds of films. I agree with that.
It's not so much films; it's more like documentaries and
such. Yeah.
Yeah, the less that's known sometimes about something, the better, because you fill in the gaps anyway up here, don't you? You're like, well, what is it? And then they'll give you so much; they'll give you a little bit to go on. And then, you're off in your head, aren't you? Thinking, where it came from,
it's cryptid.
Origin.
Yeah, it's cryptids. That's what they call them. Cryptids. Yeah, they're those mythical creatures that every state has a different cryptid. In America, it's like, or every region has its own, like Slenderman, or there's always like monster in the forest type.
Yeah. There has to be some mystery in life, doesn't there? There just has to be. Yeah. And it's the same with art, any type of art. I don't necessarily want to know where it came from a lot of the time. You know what I mean? I don't need everything explaining in painstaking detail about like why an artist wrote a song or made a film or painted a certain painting. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. About like having a bit of mystery in life.
The internet fucked that up for everyone, man. Mystery and all that is all gone now.
Well, Norman's put one of my favourite quotes up here. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realise this and you will find strength. That's what he said to this Praetorian Guard. You know, Praetorian Guards were the boys. They looked after their emperor. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, what a great thing to say. It's so true, isn't
No,
it?
he was a great philosopher, was Marcus. I loved him. I loved him. And I can't get over it. Does anyone see this, by the way? A little film, and my mate wrote it. One Night in Istanbul is the best fairy tale I've ever seen, and I was there to see it. 2005.
I'd actually love to see
6
Istanbul.
minutes that changed the world.
Yeah, that's the
We got,
movie.
we
Yeah.
got Ottoman Turk in the house tonight, and I'd love to see Istanbul and just like Turkey in general, the whole country, like, you know, Anatolia, whatever. I've seen quite a lot of Turkish films that I like, and I do like Turkish horror films. The Turks have got a good spin on, you know, the macabre and the weird, the wonderful, the scary.
Well,
There has
there's a
been like one great movie. Sorry, Anatolia, I think, was a movie that came out recently. Well, I say recently, I mean like that. Last year, there was a Turkish movie. It was about like gangster. It was like one the Palm Door, one the Robert Redford kind of thing. But it's like some gang war, like up in the hills amongst old timey farmers or something. But it was like it.
Can you see that? Can you see that?
One of the great. Second,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Elizabeth the First.
Mm.
I do a lecture on that.
Well, that's weird and wonderful, isn't it? Oh, there is a great Turkish horror film, if you ever could catch it, called Once Upon a Time in Anatolia. And it's like these police, they're looking for someone and they get lost. And it's just dead weird. I won't say more about it than that. These police officers in Turkey are looking for someone and they get lost, and where they end up isn't very pleasant. And it's a great horror film, a great Turkish horror film. I didn't half effing enjoy it, I won't swear. Didn't half effing enjoy it Once Upon a Time in Anatolia. Effing superb it was.
Well, I'm going to finish, lads. We've been at it all night. And, you know, honestly, I'd love you to watch a film and discuss it. That's why I asked you to watch. I'm not going to ask you to watch it again. And that was the day after. And Jean watched it, and she said it frightened me. It frightened me because it gives you what's going on today. It gives you there what's going on today. I've got to thank everybody on there. You know, the comments and everything ain't coming through. Jamie Phillips, I'll try and get Jamie on next week.
Another shout I can give, apart from Turkish horror films, is Iranian thrillers. I've seen some good Iranian thrillers, really, really good. They have seasons on Film 4 now and then, you know, where they'll bring you stuff from here, there, and everywhere, and it's just good to connect with other places, other cultures, see what their idea of scary is, you know what I mean? Because basically inside we're all the same things scare us, don't they, like, and that, you know.
Did you say channel 4?
Well, all right. I'm just gonna say, you know, for next week, just one is on at the same time next week, next Wednesday. If Liverpool ever play on a Wednesday, it won't be shown. You'll understand. We just changed the night or whatever. So don't be worrying about the Reds and playing. Right. So. Would you like it at the same time next week?
I'm easy.
You're also eager, you know. You'll either say no or yeah, you know. Just tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going back to work soon, mate, because I'm skint, like, so I'm after a job. But yeah, I'll do it anytime, mate. Anytime's good with me.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. What about you, Brian? And you as
Happy-
well. Too. Okay.
Happy to do it if available, but won't commit because can't.
No, well, don't commit. Just don't be
If I'm
worrying.
available, yeah. Tell what's
Yeah.
his name, to the link. If I'm around, I'll pop in. But yeah.
No, that's smashing. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you to watch? Okay, Brian, what's your genre of films you like? What kind? You've only got a genre of like drama and thrillers and horrors and science fiction.
I'd be like directors. I like David Lynch. I like the Coen Brothers. I like film noir. I like older stuff. Yeah, I don't like any of the newer CGI crap. I like that kind of stuff. Film noir, David Lynch type movies, Coen Brothers type movies, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, what about Sam Peckinpah? You like him?
Oh yeah, well, I love an old western. Oh, I love the look. Good, bad, and the ugly. That kind of shit. I love that kind of stuff. Definitely.
Okay. What about you, Lee? What's your genre? Or is it a variety?
Yeah, a variety, but I do love horrors and thrillers. Like I just said, shout out to the Middle Eastern horrors and thrillers because there's some great stuff coming from there. A good mixture of things. I like to watch a mixture of things, to keep my mind active, so I'm not always in the same place, whether it's geographically or philosophically. I like to move around, like.
Okay. And you like good actors, obviously. We all like good actors and actresses. Okay. 12th, what kind of genre do you like? Or is it a variety?
There's a variety. I would say, probably like science fiction, action. I like the documentaries as well, especially.
Okay.
So just a variety of films.
And Werner Herzog, by the way, I must say, Werner Herzog. He's my
Werner Herzog.
Werner Herzog. Anything from him.
He's one of my favourites of all time. I think I've seen pretty much everything he's done, and also his documentaries are good. They always take you on a journey. They always take you on a real journey. Werner Herzog films.
Werner Herzog versus Klaus Kinski is just insane.
Werner Herzog pulled a gun on Klaus Kinski when they were filming Fitzcarraldo. And did you hear about that, Brian?
No.
I watched the whole. Yeah.
Klaus
Werner
Kinski.
Herzog versus Klaus Kinski is several movies in its own right. Absolute madness.
Okay.
Imagine that, pulling a gun on one of your actors, but he got so pissed off and frustrated with Klaus Kinski that he pulls a gun.
Okay, does anybody like Francis Ford Coppola?
Oh yeah.
That's Nicolas Cage is actually his nephew. He's
I know. I do know all about him.
Yeah, he changed his name to Cage because he thought, he would.
He didn't want to use Coppola, did he? He didn't want to use it.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage is a Coppola. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you to choose one of the two films I'm going to ask you. One is by Francis Ford Coppola, that is. And the other is by Sam Peckinpah. Is that okay?
Okay. Bring it on.
Just, thank you. And don't shout at me. But I mentioned them. Okay. One, right. Gary Oldman's in it. I love Gary Oldman.
Okay.
And Anthony Hopkins. Can you guess what it is by Francis Ford Coppola?
Yeah, Dracula.
Dracula. Okay. Or I want you to choose this other one by Sam Peckinpah, and we'll review it because I really want you to talk about what grabbed your interest in these films. And the other one is The Wild Bunch, Sam Peckinpah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So choose one of them, boys.
Well, I've already seen both, and Dracula is my favorite novel. Like Dracula, if you've never actually read Dracula, seriously, anyone that knows it and all that shit, seriously, read Dracula. It's incredible. It's
Well, I've done it in my literature. I still teach literature by Zoom, by the way. I still teach it, and we've done that. And I'll tell you what else.
oh no.
Have you ever read Frankenstein? Mary Shelley's
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
yeah, it's brilliant
Totally
too. It's
different.
absolutely
Totally
brilliant.
different. Totally different.
And you know where that came from, don't you? It was they dared each other to write ghost stories because her and Percy and Byron were locked in a hotel beside
right.
Lake Geneva because the weather was so bad they couldn't go out, and they said, "We're stuck here for the night, right? So we're all going to challenge each other to write a ghost story." So Mary Shelley was married to Percy Bysshe, and they were there with Byron. And Percy that was the challenge, right? Let's all come up with a ghost story. And Mary Shelley came up with Frankenstein that night, just on it there. Three of the greatest minds of all time. Shelley, Byron, in a room together. Come on, man.
Byron.
She'd had a miscarriage, Mary Shelley, hadn't she? And that was part of it. That this was obviously on her mind, you know, that she'd had a miscarriage. And they took a load of laudanum. Well, I don't know a load, but they took laudanum, hadn't they? Which is like opium. They smoked it. No, drank it. Yeah. And this sort of like, I don't know, fostered something in her brain, that and the miscarriage, and it all came out of that, didn't it? Frankenstein.
Well, her mother is one of my female heroines of all time. Do you know who she was?
Is that a pun then?
No. Do you know, I'm just saying, you know, her name was Mary Wollstonecraft. And just 3 days before she was given birth, she married her husband, Godwin, you know, a Greek philosopher. And Mary Wollstonecraft died giving birth to Mary.
Mary Shelley. Yeah.
And she married Brighton, she's Shelley. But her name was Mary Godwin.
Yeah, Mary Godwin. Okay, yeah.
Fantastic. I love her mother. She wanted women to be emancipated, and you're talking the 18th century. 18th century you're talking about, and she just went around with the lads. She went around with the lads.
What a mind! What a mind!
Wow, unbelievable.
If women's football, these are the kind of people that were involved. This is the suffragettes. This is the whole thing tied together. Like, you know, they banned women's football. Women's football was getting 200,000 people at Wembley for a cup final, and then they banned it.
Yeah.
Banned it for what, 60 years? Women's football was so. Yeah, these people, man. That's a great show. Mary Wollstonecraft. These are. I didn't know Mary Shelley. That's brilliant, Frank. Thanks for telling me that. I'll remember that now.
Well, there's Ian McHale, and he said, "Great pod tonight, lads. Thanks, Frank, Lee, Brian, 12. Really good discussion and comments."
Good chat. Great chat.
Being on camera, you're back to front, and I'm trying to like comb me new fringe in a different way, and it's back to front. Keep getting it wrong.
Do it both ways, man. It looks better when you split it up.
Do it both ways.
Do
you know what?
He's doing it. Just put it in the middle. Comb and everything.
If you put it in the middle, like, just put it in the middle, right, and comb it down, and put a little curl on the top, and you'll look like alfalfa.
Yeah, the original alfalfa. Yeah.
Well, listen, lads, I've got to finish. I really have. It's been super tonight. It really has. Love the 12th man. Love the Brian there, and Lee, and the film reviewer. You know, the best film reviewer of all time. He came on for about 1 minute and went off again.
Yeah,
Right, Mickey Rourke, he went off, and it was a shame, really. And he was watching the film Family Man, and he said, "I'm confused. I don't like films that confuse me. God blimey. It's a straightforward film." Anyway, love to him and love to you, honestly. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Thank you to all the lads and girls
Yeah,
who
thanks.
commented on
I
the
thought it
show.
was brilliant tonight, all the comments. The comments were really good. Took us all over the place, didn't it? Like we were.
Yeah. I'll try and get Jamie on next week. I'll try. Do you know that this is the first film review that we've had, and the time we've been doing it, football hasn't come into it.
Perfect.
And last night, honestly, Brian, on the football pod, we started talking about films.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah.
I couldn't stop once I got started with DW, a kindred spirit there. DW, I think he's my age, like roughly, and just got vibing on like Mike Lee and stuff like that. Peter Greenaway films. I don't know what posh people call them, art house films or something, or what do you call it, independent? What do you call them? They're not mainstream. They're thought-provoking, they're good. I like trying to connect with things that are above my education level, which is minimal. So I like trying to connect with things that are a bit higher up than that, if that makes sense.
Lee, I've met higher educated people than you that are far more stupid than you, man. Don't worry. It has nothing to do with them, It's nothing to do with letter after your name. Yeah, art house, indie, whatever you want to fucking call it, man. They're all films at the end of the day.
If it was about education, then the Houses of Parliament would be full of geniuses, but it's not. It's full of two-watt bulbs, isn't it? For them, you know what I mean? It's like if knowledge was power, they wouldn't be able to light a 2-watt bulb half of them.
Does anybody ever watch? Does anybody ever read? You must have read this. I'm a specialist. I don't like saying this actually, but I am a specialist on Charles Dickens. Does anybody ever read Hard Times? Everybody read A Christmas Carol and Oliver Twist, Great Expectations. Does anybody ever read Hard Times?
Frank, in Ireland, when you go to secondary school, which is where you go when you're 12, right? You do 3 years and then you do your junior cert, right?
Yeah.
And then you do another 3 years and you do your leaving cert, right? And then you go to college, right? So, yeah, in junior cert, that's your big exam after 3 years. And for English, we got Hard Time. That was the novel we did. We got Macbeth and we got Hard Time. Yeah, I read Hard Times. I did my junior cert on it. I read that fucking book 10 times.
Macbeth.
Oh, yeah, Hard Times. So everyone else did, yeah, whatever, but we got Hard Times.
Well, anyway, it's now on YouTube. It's on YouTube, the series, but it goes back. It's not digitalized, I don't think. And it's a series, a television series of Hard Times. But I remember at the time, I was telling my students at the time, watch it. Because it's right to the text. It's brilliant. And if you've never been to Liverpool, in the 5th chapter, it's called Keynote. That's what it is, the very beginning of the 5th chapter. And he's describing, because Dickens was the greatest of all descriptive writers. And he's describing this scene. And he's looking at the scene from Everton. And he's looking down towards the River Mersey. And he's looking at the Liverpool Leeds Canal. Because that's what you could see in those days. So, he's looking down and he's describing Liverpool. albeit it's supposed to be a fictional town called Coketown, but he's describing Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And, just try and watch that if you can. Try and watch that. I'm not advising you to. The only advice is to watch a series. There's an American series. The acting is absolutely superb. Superb. Well, 2 series, really. The Outsider. If you haven't watched it, watch it, please.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Brilliant, that.
It's unbelievable. It's fantastic. It's a Stephen King thing. And also Tulsa King. And as Ian McHale said, it's, the second series is being made today. It's fantastic. Okay, so 12th, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully. You too, Brian.
Yeah.
I hope to see you tomorrow night.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, thank you.
At the same time, by the way, 9. What time is it? Late tomorrow? Is it 9:30 or 10?
I think we kick off at 7:30, so I'll be at yours anyway, mate, won't I? So can I sit next to you and your thingy?
Well, it's between. I'll put us up. Well, Jason will put us up tomorrow. What time? Will you be free, Brian, on 12th?
I don't think we're going
Possibly
to
might be. I can't confirm only because I have I'm gonna do a watch along tomorrow. I'm gonna do a watch along
we'll
and
be
then
on.
I have
After the game. Oh, I see. So you're talking after the game as well.
okay.
It's
okay.
after the
Yeah.
game. It's
Okay.
after the game.
You're in
17th.
as well. You're in demand, mate. Everyone wants you.
So anyway, I hope to see
Only
you tomorrow.
Only wish that was true.
Honestly, I hope to see you tomorrow night and we can talk about the game.
Yeah, you will.
And what our next- and don't forget, we've got the United, so we'll be talking about that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And see where we go after tomorrow night. We could all be smiling and happy and everything else, or we could be like, right? So we'll see.
Happy
Thank you,
thoughts. Let's take happy thoughts.
thank you everyone on chat. I love you all. And Brian, 12th, Lee, thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow night. Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Buenas noches.